Chapter 1430. Everyone, don't hold back. Show us all your strength. As long as we work together, we will definitely survive this heavenly punishment. Although the heavenly punishment contained terrifying world energy, Yi Feng and the others had extraordinary foundations. Their strength was much higher than those of the same realm. In addition, they had powerful treasures to protect their bodies. They worked together and intertwined the Tao diagrams to form a sea of Tao intent, completely resisting the heavenly punishment. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement test under the world energy's baptism. Yi Feng and the others became even more refined. Their comprehension of Tao intent was also constantly deepening. About 12 hours later, the heavenly punishment that had been pouring down and destroying the sea of mystery finally disappeared. Working together to resist the world energy's baptism, Yi Feng and the others suffered heavy injuries, especially Yi Feng, Lei Yi, and Tsang Kuan-Wu, who had tried their best to kill the ancient devil sage. Their injuries were even more serious. Many of their bones were exposed, and the Tao energy in their bodies was obviously exhausted. Blood, Ginseng King, recover! Before the second heavenly punishment descended, Yi Feng took out a blood Ginseng King that was more than 1,000,000 years old and had a strong recovery ability. He spat out the heaven-burning sacred flame and melted it, refining a large amount of pure spiritual liquid. He merged it into the bodies of everyone and the two saint beasts, accelerating their recovery speed and replenishing their Tao energy. What was that? Just as everyone was quickly refining the blood Ginseng King's juice and recovering from their injuries, a large number of figures appeared in the violently tumbling tribulation clouds. A terrifying murderous aura spread out from the tribulation clouds and swept through the surroundings, making Yi Feng and the others smell a strong sense of danger. Humanoid heavenly punishment. It was actually the most terrifying humanoid heavenly punishment. Looking at the increasingly clear humanoid figures in the tribulation clouds, Yi Feng immediately guessed that what he was about to face would be the most terrifying humanoid heavenly punishment with intelligence. Everyone, don't be distracted. Hurry up and heal your injuries. Only by adjusting ourselves to the best state can we survive this humanoid heavenly punishment. Yi Feng reminded loudly. He merged all the blood Ginseng King's juice into everyone's bodies to accelerate their recovery. They had to face the humanoid heavenly punishment that was about to descend. Kill, kill, kill. Suddenly, terrifying sounds of killing resounded through the sky. The second level of heavenly punishment, the humanoid heavenly punishment, descended, bringing with it boundless killing intent and world power as it attacked Yi Feng and the others. Let's go. Looking at the mighty humanoid Tian Fa, who was holding a Tao will divine weapon in his hand, Yi Feng decisively burned all three of his bloodlines and pushed the three great Tao diagrams to the extreme. Holding the dragon spine sacred sword and black dragon sacred sword, he went up to meet the humanoid Tian Fa, who had extremely terrifying offensive power. Boom! When Yi Feng unleashed his full strength and killed a humanoid heavenly punishment with his dual saint swords, he was immediately surrounded by a large number of humanoid heavenly punishments. Streams of terrifying heavenly punishments and Tao will divine weapons constantly attacked his body, putting his defense to a great test. Tian Song Juwen Kanwutsong saw that Yi Feng, who was leading the charge, was surrounded by the humanoid heavenly punishments. He immediately mobilized the power of Azure and controlled the Kunwu realm to charge forward. He relied on his absolute strength to crush the humanoid heavenly punishments and reduce the pressure on Yi Feng. Ling Yu, Yan, Lei Yi, the two sacred beasts, don't split up. Use the array to resist the humanoid heavenly punishment. Don't let the formation be broken by the humanoid heavenly punishment. After experiencing the terror of the humanoid heavenly punishment, Yi Feng was afraid that something would happen to Ling Yu and Shui Hanyan. Cheng Feng, be careful. Shui Hanyan, who had activated her Taoist physique and burned her phoenix bloodline, replied, She quickly formed a huge formation with the spirit fish and Lei Yi and the two sacred beasts. They deduced the formation intent and used all their strength to resist the attack of the humanoid sky law. Humanoid, heavenly punishment, break. When Shui Han Yen, Ling Yu, and the others formed their array to attack, Yi Qinfeng unleashed his strength to the extreme. Relying on his strength that exceeded 700 million jin, he directly crushed the humanoid heavenly punishment. Meanwhile, Song Kunwa's strength was even more terrifying. He executed the firmament art and destroyed everything. He constantly shattered the remaining human-shaped heaven's punishment, turning them into pure Tao patterns that fused into his body, increasing his comprehension of Tao intent. Universe, sword formation, sword tornado. Yi Qinfeng had been killing nonstop for more than 6 hours and felt a little tired. He decisively summoned the 108 Qingkuan swords and merged them with the bronze sword soul, forming a terrifying sword tornado around his body, resisting the attacks of the humanoid sky law that constantly appeared. Let's go! We will kill our way into the tribulation clouds and destroy the heavenly punishment in one fell swoop. Yi Qinfeng and the others fought with the humanoid heavenly punishment for a day. They felt that the heavenly punishment's power was still vigorous in the tribulation clouds. They estimated that they would need another 2 days to pass the heavenly punishment, but he wasn't sure if the ancient devil sage would use these few days to recover from his injuries and make a comeback. Therefore, he decided to take the risk and rush into the tribulation clouds to receive the most basic baptism of the heavenly punishment. All right, Kunwu Tsang, Shui Han Yen, and the others didn't hesitate and followed closely behind Yi Qinfeng. They burst out with earth-shattering attacks and constantly shattered the humanoid heavenly punishment that descended from the sky. They tore apart the violently rumbling tribulation clouds and rushed in. Boom! 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 Yi Qinfeng and the others rushed into the tribulation clouds and directly detonated the most basic of the tribulation clouds. The golden ocean-like world power instantly engulfed them. Countless humanoid heavenly punishment emerged from the golden ocean-like world and constantly launched the most basic attacks at them. Formation. Facing the heavenly punishment's attacks that were beyond their imagination and suffocating them, Yi Qinfeng and the others didn't retreat. They quickly formed an extremely powerful formation and relied on the power of the formation to resist the world's golden ocean-like world's baptism and the densely packed humanoid heavenly punishment. Under the most basic and direct baptism of the heavenly punishment, Yi Qinfeng and the others' injuries kept on worsening. The Tao intent in their body was getting purer and stronger with the baptism of the world power. Everyone, attack with me and destroy the source of the golden ocean-like world. We'll destroy this heavenly punishment in one fell swoop. While Yi Qinfeng and the others were resisting the golden ocean-like world's baptism, the God-Eater brain was also rapidly deducing. After the God-Eater brain's deductions, Yi Qinfeng discovered the source of the golden ocean-like world's power. He summoned the chaotic divine wood and gathered everyone's power to attack with all their might. Boom! Boom! Yi Qinfeng and the others didn't hesitate to use their saint skills. They tore apart the world power and continuously attacked the source of the golden ocean-like world, causing the world power in the tribulation clouds to become chaotic and put them under even greater pressure. However, they didn't slow down their attacks and continued to attack Yi Qinfeng, who was covered in wounds. Finally, after everyone's continuous efforts, the source of the world power was blasted open by their combined efforts. Boom! In the next moment, the golden ocean-like world exploded. A large number of humanoid heavenly punishment were also shattered. The terrifying power directly shattered the space within a radius of dozens of miles and launched the final and most fatal attack at Yi Qinfeng and the others. Everyone hold on. Faced with the impact of the destructive explosion, Yi Qinfeng and the others gritted their teeth and ignored their injuries. They deduced their Tao intent to the extreme and used all their skills to defend themselves. While they were defending, a large number of Tao patterns fused into their bodies along with the explosions, shockwave, and sublimated their understanding of Tao intent. After about 30 breaths, the array diagram formed by Yi Qinfeng and the others shattered. They were directly blasted down from midair by the earth-shattering energy. They fell into the surging waves of the mysterious ocean that were more than 100 meters tall. Mobile reading site. Book address. To facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1431. Is everyone all right? Yi Qinfeng endured the injuries on his body and teleported the severely injured Shui Hanyan and the others into the universe realm before asking with concern, "We're fine. Don't worry." Shui Hanyan, whose face was pale without a trace of blood, struggled to sit up and replied weakly. Her body was severely injured and covered in blood. Although everyone was severely injured by Tian Fa's self-destruction and their bodies were on the verge of collapse, the benefits they obtained were unimaginable. If they could refine the Tao patterns in their bodies, their comprehension of Tao intent would increase by several levels, and they might even be able to condense a spirit-grade Tao diagram. Everyone should cultivate in the universe realm and try to comprehend the Tao patterns in their bodies as soon as possible. Seeing that Shui Hanyan, San Kanwu, and the others were not injured, Yi Qinfeng was relieved. He consumed a quasi-sage elixir and left the universe realm with the fire qilin. He rode on the fire qilin and flew towards the mysterious sea. In order to avoid being intercepted by the ancient devil sages, Yi Qinfeng rode on the fire qilin and circled around the mysterious sea. It took him a few days to return to the central world. "Boss, where are we going now?" After witnessing Yi Qinfeng's potential, the fire qilin, who had obtained a lot of benefits from him, completely approved of him. Even his voice became more polite. "To the sacred Fire Valley." Although his strength had increased tremendously, Yi Qinfeng still felt that his foundation was not enough to face the ancient devil sages. In order to strengthen his foundation, he was prepared to seize the sacred Fire Valley's 5 elements, sacred fire. All right. The fire qilin roared and flew towards the sacred Fire Valley according to the map of the central world that the God-Eater brain sent into his soul sea. At this moment, the sacred Fire Valley was celebrating a joyous occasion. An endless stream of guests came to the sacred Fire Valley to congratulate the sacred Fire Valley Master, Fire Sky Halberd, on breaking through to the Nirvana heavenly realm. The Wind Fire Sect Master and the Scorching Sun Sect Master had arrived. The sacred Fire Valley was bustling with noise and excitement. There was a festive atmosphere in the sacred Fire Valley. Many important figures came to congratulate them with lavish gifts. Congratulations, Fire Valley Master. Congratulations on breaking through to the Nirvana heavenly realm. With you in charge, our Sacred Fire Alliance will become even stronger. Our sects can also bask in your glory. Yes, we will follow your lead in the future. The Wind Fire Sect Master and the Scorching Sun Sect Master came to the newly decorated hall. After putting down the heavy gifts, they congratulated Fire Sky Halberd, who was wearing a dark golden robe, had fiery red hair, and had a stalwart figure. Haha, the 2 sect leaders are too polite. Fire Sky Halberd seemed to enjoy the feeling of being stared at by countless envious eyes. A faint smile appeared on its fiery red face. King Maui of the Octahead Kingdom had arrived. Another announcement rang out in the noisy Sky Fire Valley, causing the lively Sacred Fire Valley to quieten down a little. Everyone looked at the man with awe. He was wearing a long robe with a dragon pattern on it, exuding a faint demonic aura, and had a dignified appearance. This man was none other than the Emperor of Orochi, the demonic Might King, who wielded monstrous power. Hee, congratulations, Valley Master Hua. Congratulations on breaking through to the Nirvana heavenly realm, surrounded by a group of people. The demonic Might King strode in with a smile on his face. Normally, a divine nation would rarely pay attention to a Nirvana heaven realm expert that appeared in a sect. After all, there were quite a number of Nirvana heaven realm experts in a divine nation. However, the Sacred Fire Valley was different from ordinary sects, and the Fire Sky Halberd was an extremely rare sacred master in the Central World. Thus, the Octave Divine Nation had no choice but to pay attention to him and send the demonic Might King to congratulate him personally. Demonic Might King, thank you for coming in person. Please come in. Fire Sky Halberd did not dare to be careless. He slowly stood up and personally invited the demonic Might King into the main hall and arranged for him to sit on the main seat. Not long after the arrival of the demonic Might King, several big shots came to the Sacred Fire Valley to congratulate Fire Sky Halberd. For a moment, Fire Sky Halberd's vanity was greatly satisfied. With a smile on his face, he exchanged greetings with all the big shots. We came at the right time. It's the big day of the Sacred Fire Sect. Crossing hundreds of thousands of miles, Yi Chin Feng came to the Sacred Fire Valley. Looking at the endless stream of guests who came to congratulate him, he revealed a cold smile. Boss, should we kill our way in? Fire Qilin, who was wearing a fiery red robe and had a tall and sturdy body, like an iron tower, asked. No, I want to give Fire Sky Halberd a surprise. Yi Chin Feng shook his head and said, let's go. Let's go into the valley to congratulate him. You too, where are you from? Looking at Yi Chin Feng, who was wearing a human skin mask, and the tall and sturdy Fire Qilin, who had transformed into a human form, a disciple of the Sacred Fire Valley stopped them and asked politely, we came to congratulate you because of your reputation. Yi Chin Feng, who was tall and outstanding, said lightly, can we go in now? Yes, please come in. Thinking that the Sacred Fire Valley was full of masters and that no one would dare to make trouble at this critical moment, the disciple of the Sacred Fire Valley did not suspect anything. He let Yi Chin Feng and Fire Qilin walk into the bustling and jubilant Sacred Fire Valley. Well, an alchemy competition. Walking into the Sacred Fire Valley, Yi Chin Feng found that there were people competing in alchemy in the valley. Someone was even displaying a mysterious fire control technique, which attracted waves of cheers from the crowd. However, Yi Chin Feng did not stop. Along with Fire Qilin, he followed the bustling crowd and came to the overcrowded main hall. Tu King Wang arrived. Just as Yi Chin Feng was about to enter the main hall, he was startled. He looked to the northwest and frowned. Just as he was thinking, a loud voice sounded. Tu Wang, who was wearing a dark golden robe and a towering crown, came to the Sacred Fire Valley accompanied by 4 masters from the 9 heavens' divine kingdom. Seeing Tu Wang arrive, the crowd outside the main hall consciously opened up a path, allowing Tu Wang, who had an arrogant look on his face, to walk into the main hall. Come on, let's go in. Yi Chin Feng moved his body slightly and walked out of the crowd. He and Fire Qilin followed behind Tu Wang and walked towards the main hall filled with important people. Stop, who are you? Looking at the unfamiliar faces of Yi Chin Feng and Fire Qilin, 2 masters from the Sacred Fire Valley immediately stopped them and questioned them in an unfriendly tone. Who we are is not important. What's important is that we are here to congratulate you with gifts. Yi Chin Feng said with his hands behind his back, looking at the 2 masters from the Sacred Fire Valley with fierce eyes. Leave your names and gifts, then you can leave. The masters from the Sacred Fire Valley ordered coldly. No, the gifts I brought are too valuable. I have to give them to the Fire Valley Master personally. Yi Chin Feng shook his head and said with a serious expression, The 2 masters from the Sacred Fire Valley frowned slightly and looked at each other. Take out the gifts you brought. If the gifts you brought are really valuable, we will allow you to enter. The 2 masters from the Sacred Fire Valley communicated with each other and said, All right. Yi Chin Feng sighed softly and took out a huge bronze bell from the universal mirror. He said loudly, This is my gift. I am here today to give this bell to the Fire Valley Master. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1432. Damn it, I think you are tired of living. How dare you make trouble today? The two sacred Fire Valley Masters looked at the bronze bell in Yi Qinfeng's hand and their faces changed. They attacked Yi Qinfeng, wanting to injure him and capture him. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement, test get lost. Without waiting for the two of them to get close, the burly Fire Qilin took a step forward. With one step, it cracked the thick stairs and formed a powerful cyclone. It directly sent the two of them flying, and they fell into the noisy main hall. Who dares to make trouble in my sacred Fire Valley? Seeing the two sacred Fire Valley experts vomiting blood and falling into a coma, the two Nirvana realm elders of the sacred Fire Valley, who were Fire Sky Halberd's right-hand men, were instantly enraged. One after another, they attacked Yi Qinfeng and Yi Qinfeng, who had walked in as if no one else was present. Crack! The two closed in. Fire Qilin burst out a shocking power, shattering a large area of the ground and sending the two Sky Fire Valley elders flying dozens of meters away. It was unknown whether they were dead or alive. I heard that Valley Master who broke through to the Nirvana Heavenly Realm, so I came to congratulate you. However, your two watchdogs didn't let us in. We had no choice but to force our way in. Yi Qinfeng raised the huge bronze bell and said, Valley Master Hua, are you satisfied with my gift? Bell sending bell seeing Yi Qinfeng throw the huge bronze bell on the ground. The entire main hall became silent. Everyone smelled something unusual. Anger appeared in Fire Sky Halberd's deep eyes. His good mood today was gone. What? Valley Master Hua is not satisfied with my gift? Looking at Fire Sky Halberd, whose face was as gloomy as water, Yi Qinfeng smiled and said, How about this coffin? Is Valley Master Hua satisfied? As he spoke, Yi Qinfeng took out another coffin and placed it in the Great Hall. The atmosphere in the Great Hall became tense at this moment. Who are you? Why are you making trouble in my sacred Fire Valley? Fire Sky Halberd smashed the dragon head armrest and stared at the fearless Yi Qinfeng and Fire Qilin as he shouted loudly. Because he was wary of the Fire Qilin's terrifying battle prowess, he didn't attack blindly. What? You didn't recognize me? Yi Qinfeng was the proudest one. Slightly cocking his head, he looked toward Hualing, the saint son of Hualing, who was standing beside Huatianji, and said, Hualing, I wonder if you recognize me? You are Feng Chenwen, the flame spirit saint, heard Yi Qinfeng deliberately reveal his true voice. An image of a person who brought him endless humiliation and became his inner demon appeared in his mind. Look at you. You're worse than your son. He recognized me. Yi Qinfeng said playfully. He took off his human skin mask and revealed his true appearance. Feng Qin, how dare you appear in public and cause trouble in the sacred Fire Valley? Demon Might King suddenly stood up from his chair and glared at Yi Qinfeng, the most wanted criminal in Octave Divine Kingdom, as he shouted, What? Is this place a dragon pool or a tiger's den? Yi Qinfeng snorted and laughed. I even dare to push your 8 directions imperial palace, much less this little Shenghugu. By the way, did you see the ancient demon saint before you came? Did you see him run back to Octave Imperial City like a stray dog? Demon Might King stared at him and said in disbelief, You injured the demon saint. If he didn't run fast enough, he would have been a ghost under my sword. Yi Qinfeng said coldly, Well, if you don't want to die, get out of here. If you don't blame me for killing you and not giving you a chance. Feng Qin, are you really going to challenge the entire Central World? Tu Wang, whose eyes were twitching violently, stood up and glared at him. His eyes were filled with anger. You're wrong. Today, I'm going to sweep through the sacred fire valley. Anyone who helps the sacred fire valley is my enemy. Yi Qinfeng exuded a domineering aura as he spoke. A power beyond Tu Wang's imagination emanated from his body, enveloping the entire hall. Nirvana, you have broken through nirvana. Sensing that Yi Qinfeng's aura was even more terrifying than his, Tu Wang's snow-white eyebrows twitched as he said in shock. Humph, nirvana, Yi Qinfeng snorted and said, I can kill nirvana like killing a chicken. Well, I will count to 3. If you don't get out, leave your head behind. As he spoke, the 3 spirit-level Tao diagrams were like 3 rising red suns, emerging from his body and releasing endless Tao intent, shocking everyone present. After the baptism of the heavenly punishment, Yi Qinfeng's 3 spirit-level Tao diagrams were even more powerful. Plus, he had broken through to the 2-star Tao Saint realm, and the soul power in his body had completely transformed into Tao power. At this time, the 3 spirit-level Tao diagrams were even more powerful and could definitely kill Nirvana's powerhouses. Good. Feng Qin, my octave imperial city, will definitely take revenge. Demon Might King didn't expect Yi Qinfeng's strength to become so terrifying in just a few years. He didn't dare to stay any longer and left after saying a few words. Others can leave, but you can't. Yi Qinfeng sneered and flew toward Demon Might King, whose face had changed greatly. True demon heaven formula as Yi Qinfeng attacked. Demon Might King didn't hesitate to burn his powerful bloodline power and condense a towering true demon blood shadow, which was entwined with thick demonic qi. It held a huge demonic weapon and slashed at Yi Qinfeng. Break! Yi Qinfeng's physical strength had exceeded 200 million after cultivating his aura constitution to perfection. With a single punch, the air was instantly compressed and exploded. The punch shattered the demonic weapon that the true demon blood shadow had slashed down. The remaining force of the punch landed on the true demon blood shadow's huge body, causing many bloody wounds to appear on it. In the next moment, the bronze sword spirit flew out of Yi Qinfeng's body like a stream of light and slashed the cracked true demon blood shadow, directly splitting its huge body in half. Protect the Lord. Seeing that Demon Might King was in danger, his 4 powerful subordinates disregarded their own safety and stood in front of him, attacking Yi Qinfeng to buy time for Demon Might King to escape. Humph, you want to stop me? In the face of the killing move launched by the 4 subordinates of Demon Might King, Yi Qinfeng didn't dodge. Relying on his body that was comparable to a low-grade sacred treasure, he shattered the attack and crashed toward the 4 people. Bang bang bungas! Soon as the 4 people's bodies came into contact with Yi Qinfeng, they were immediately shattered by the power of more than 200 million kilograms in his body, turning into 4 clouds of blood mist that drifted away with the wind. Dragon subduing pillars demon Might King didn't expect Yi Qinfeng's strength to be so terrifying that he deduced Tao will to the extreme and condensed the dragon subduing pillars to suppress Yi Qinfeng. When the 9 dragons subduing pillars fell from the sky, Demon Might King unreservedly threw out 2 quasi-sacred treasures and bombarded Yi Qinfeng's head, wanting to injure him in one fell swoop. Divine Demon Bloodline Burn. In the face of Demon Might King's continuous killing moves, Yi Qinfeng transformed into a terrifying divine demon body. While raising the defense of his body to the limit of a low-grade sacred treasure, his physical strength exceeded 700 million kilograms. Bang, 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 bang. The moment the dragon subduing pillars fell, they were immediately shattered by the power that erupted from Yi Qinfeng's body. Yi Qinfeng's hand reached out, shining with Tao will, and directly grabbed the 2 quasi-sacred treasures that were coming at him at high speed. Crack! Crack! A series of bone-chilling cracking sounds rang out. Under the horrified gaze of the crowd, Yi Qinfeng crushed the 2 quasi-sacred treasures. No. Witnessing this scene, Demon Might King was desperate. Without hesitation, he used the blood escape to escape, But Yi Chen Feng was faster. He threw out a palm print across the air. The rolling Dao will and power merged together, turning into an invincible giant handprint that smashed directly on Demon Might King's body, smashing his whole body into pieces. Not even his bones were left. Mobile reading home. Book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Collect button below to record this reading record. You can see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1433. Gu. Everyone was dumbfounded by the scene in front of them. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement test. They couldn't believe that the Demon Might King, who possessed monstrous authority in the octave divine nation and whose strength was close to the limits of nirvana, was slapped to death by Yi Chen Feng. Furthermore, his two quasi-sage treasures were crushed by Yi Chen Feng like toys. I'll count to 3. Whoever doesn't get lost, I'll kill you. After killing the demonic Might King, Yi Chen Feng slowly turned around and warned in an incomparably tyrannical manner, I'll go. After witnessing Yi Chen Feng's invincible strength and ruthless methods, many people were scared out of their wits. They ignored Fire Sky Halberd's persuasion and fled in panic. Even Tu Tianwang, whose expression was uncertain and whose eyes revealed a trace of fear, didn't dare to stay for long. He endured the humiliation in his heart and left dejectedly. Fire Sky Halberd, isn't it time for us to settle the score? Yi Chen Feng said coldly as he looked at Fire Sky Halberd and the other experts of the sacred Fire Valley with beads of sweat on their foreheads. Although Fire Sky Halberd had broken through to the Nirvana heavenly realm, after witnessing Yi Chen Feng's strength and methods of killing the Demon Might King, he felt that he was no match for him. Moreover, he smelled an even more terrifying aura from the Fire Qilin. Feng Qin, my sacred Fire Valley didn't offend you after the Heavenly Palace's refining competition. Why did you want to kill us? Fire Sky Halberd suppressed the fear in his heart and said angrily, Fire Sky Halberd, before I came here, I really didn't want to eliminate your sacred Fire Valley. But I didn't expect that your sacred Fire Valley would collude with the Phantom Shadow. I think that the fact that I was assassinated time and time again by the Phantom Shadow assassins was also because of your shadow behind it. How powerful was Yi Chen Feng's soul? When he walked into the sacred Fire Valley, he sensed the aura of the Nirvana Heavenly Realm expert who tried to assassinate him. Feng Qin, your perception is not bad. I didn't expect you to find me. Before Fire Sky Halberd could deny it, a black figure appeared outside the sacred Fire Palace and blocked Yi Chen Feng. If I'm not wrong, you are Yao Yan. Yi Chen Feng said coldly as he looked at the black figure blocking the entrance of the hall. You guessed wrong. I am not Yao Yan, the black figure replied coldly. I don't care who you are. Show yourself today. After breaking through to become a 2-star Dao Saint, Yi Chen Feng no longer feared Yao Yan, who was at the peak of the Nirvana heavenly realm. His body flashed slightly as he flew to the front of the black figure using the sword steps. He reached out his huge hand that was filled with hundreds of millions of kilograms of strength and grabbed at the black figure. Buzz when Yi Chen Feng attacked with all his strength. The black figure took a small step back. Several black suns appeared on his body, and like meteors that streaked across space, they collided fiercely with Yi Chen Feng, erupting with world-shaking power. If it was in the past, Yi Chen Feng would definitely be forced back by these black suns. But now, Yi Chen Feng was no longer the same as before. His right hand pierced through the black suns like a hot knife through butter, and under the slightly shocked gaze of the black figure, he bombarded his chest. Boom! The black figure could not dodge in time and was hit by Yi Chen Feng's punch. His entire body trembled slightly, and he took 3 steps back, crushing the hard ground. Yes, a puppet. This person was a puppet. Yi Chen Feng knew the power of his punch. It could even shatter a low-grade sacred weapon, but when it hit the black figure, it could not break his body. Yi Chen Feng guessed that he was not a living person, but a puppet with flesh and blood. It was no different from an ordinary person, and its strength was comparable to a mid-grade sacred treasure. Heavenly fire triple transformation when Yi Chin Fong was fighting with the black figure. The fire sky halberd immediately used the number 1 magic of the sacred fire valley. It ignited the 3 great flames in its body and increased its strength. It attacked Yi Chin Fong with the treasure of the sacred fire valley, the mid-grade sacred weapon, the sky-breaking halberd. Roar! The fire sky halberd, whose body was covered in flames, slashed through the void with the sky-breaking halberd. The fire Qilin roared and blocked in front of him, using its mid-grade sacred sword to meet the attack. Boom! The 2 sacred treasures collided, and immediately a shocking force exploded in the void, shattering the restrictions of the hall and shaking the entire hall. Puff! The fire sky halberd used the heavenly fire triple transformation. Although his strength had reached the limit of the nirvana heavenly realm, he was still far from the fire Qilin, who was comparable to the limit of a 4-star divine saint. After taking the blow head-on, the fire sky halberd's body trembled. A large amount of blood spurted out of his mouth, and his entire body crashed heavily to the ground. After injuring the fire sky halberd with 1 blow, the fire Qilin wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to attack and capture him. Hiss! Hiss! Suddenly, there was an ear-piercing sound. A red snake that was nearly 100 meters long, with a single horn and fist-sized scales all over its body, leaped up from the ground. It was a low-grade sacred beast. It opened its bloody mouth and bit at the fire Qilin. Howl! Suddenly attacked by the red snake, the fire Qilin roared into the sky and transformed into the Qilin's original form. It trampled on the space and faced the sacred beast snake. It sent it flying and shattered its poisonous fangs that were several meters long. The fire Qilin. Seeing the fire Qilin transform into its original form, many masters of the sacred fire valley were terrified. Even the fire sky halberd felt deeply uneasy. How dare a low-grade sacred beast sneak attack me? The fire Qilin spoke in human language. With a terrifying impact, it attacked the red snake and continuously launched fatal attacks. Under the fire Qilin's ferocious attacks, the scales all over the red snake's body were crushed by the fire Qilin. Its huge body was also riddled with holes by the fire Qilin. Its 10-meter-long tail was bitten off by the fire Qilin. Sun, Moon, Mountain, River painting. Trap! Seeing that the sacred beast of the sacred fire valley was in danger, the fire spirit saint immediately took out the low-grade sacred treasure, Sun, Moon, Mountain, River painting, wanting to trap the fire Qilin inside. But the fire Qilin's strength was too terrifying. Under the attack of the burning sacred fire, the Sun, Moon, Mountain, River paintings' devouring power kept shattering. It couldn't trap the fire Qilin at all and hurt it at all. Hiss! As the red snake cried in pain, the fire Qilin bit off its 7 inches and swallowed its demon core, heart, and most of its body. Father, what should we do? The fire spirit saint panicked and asked loudly when he saw Yi Chin Fong continuously using his killing moves to suppress the black figure and the fire Qilin swallowing their sacred beast. Let's get out of here first. The situation was completely out of control. Fire Sky Halberd didn't dare to stay any longer and wanted to leave quickly. Roar! Do you think you can run away? The mighty fire Qilin roared and stepped on the void to block the 2 of them. It launched a ferocious attack on them. 5 elements sacred fire, save me. The fire Qilin's attack was too fierce. Fire Sky Halberd and his son were no match for it at all. They had to ask for help from the 5 elements sacred fire. In the next moment, a slowly blooming lotus formed from 5 colored flames appeared in the hall that was filled with cracks and was about to collapse. When the lotus flower fully bloomed, the rolling 5 elements sacred fire attacked the fire Qilin like an erupting volcano. It blocked its fatal attack and saved Fire Sky Halberd and his son. Mobile reading site. Book address: In order to make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the bookmark at the bottom to record this reading record. You can see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1434. 5 Elemental Sacred Fire. You have finally appeared. Looking at the powerful 5 Elemental Sacred Fire that blocked the Fire Qilin's killing blow, Yi Qinfeng revealed a satisfied smile. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement, test if he could subdue it and then subdue another sacred fire. He could use the heavenly fire triple transformation to greatly increase his overall strength and foundation. All right, I won't play games with you anymore. With that said, Yi Qinfeng summoned his life treasure, the Chaos Divine Wood, and attacked the black figure. The Chaos Divine Wood was connected to Yi Qinfeng's mind and was not restricted in any way. It could completely unleash its strongest power. When the swaying Chaos 5 Elemental Sacred Light hit the black figure, it directly broke through its defenses, smashed its chest, and sent it flying. It was indeed a puppet. Looking at the black figure that had revealed his true form, Yi Qinfeng discovered that his facial features were severely blurred. His flesh and blood were mixed with a large amount of black crystals that looked like fine sand. His chest was even embedded with a shell that looked like a tortoise's shell. His entire person had been modified to look like a machine. And it was this shell and the black sand crystals that greatly increased its defense, allowing it to battle a Nirvana heavenly realm powerhouse. The tortoise shell was smashed by the Chaos Divine Wood, but the terrifying puppet did not retreat. It let out an inhuman scream and burned powerful energy. It held a bone-like spear and attacked Yi Qinfeng. Dragon, subduing pillars, the puppet crazily attacked. Yi Qinfeng deduced the 3 spirit-level Tao diagrams to the extreme and condensed 9 dragons subduing pillars. They were like 9 pillars that supported the sky. They smashed the puppet's body one after another, greatly restricting its mobility and attacking its body. When the puppet's legs were smashed into the hard ground by the 9 dragons subduing pillars that descended from the sky, Yi Qinfeng controlled the Chaos Divine Wood to launch a fatal attack. It fiercely smashed into the puppet's cracked chest, sending it flying. Its entire chest caved in. Demon Emperor Furnace shatter. With a thought from Yi Qinfeng, the supreme tier sacred treasure, the furnace of the Demon Emperor, flew out of his body. Under the control of his mind, the furnace of the Demon Emperor burned and smashed into the puppet's body like a volcano. The terrible power shattered the puppet's body. Seeing Yi Qinfeng shatter the puppet, Fire Sky Halberd's expression changed. He panicked. He wanted to escape with the Fire Spirit Saint Sun while the 5 Elements Sacred Flame was fighting with the Fire Qilin. Cosmos Sword Formation. Yi Qinfeng took a step forward and tore through the air at an astonishing speed. He brought the 108 Qinkuin swords to block Fire Sky, Halberd, and the others. Sun, Moon, Mountain, River map being attacked by the Universal Sword Formation. The Fire Spirit Saint Sun immediately controlled the Sun and Moon Mountain and River diagram to turn into layers of light. He protected himself from the attack of the Universal Sword Formation. Humph! A mere low-grade holy artifact can't save your life. Yi Qinfeng sneered. His mind controlled the 108 Qinkuin swords to form together. Combined with the bronze sword soul, he unleashed an invincible sword attack. He slashed at the mountain and river diagram that seemed to contain the sun and the moon. He tore through the defense of the mountain and river diagram and attacked the body of the Fire Spirit Saint. Puff! Puff! A large amount of sword qi poured into his body. The Fire Spirit Saint was immediately wounded. His armor was severely damaged, and a large amount of blood gushed out from the bloody holes. Ling, Fire Sky Halberd saw that the Fire Spirit Saint's life was in danger. He burned all the blood in his body and raised his power to the peak. He slashed at Yi Qinfeng with his mid-grade holy artifact, the sky-breaking halberd. He wanted to force Yi Qianfeng back and create time for the Fire Spirit Saint to escape. Doomsday natural disaster, the flaming sky halberd carried with it a shocking killing intent. But Yi Qianfeng didn't retreat. He decisively fused the heaven-suppressing orb and the sacred blood orb, burned his 3 great bloodlines, and derived 3 spirit-level Tao diagrams. He condensed 3 doomsdays that devoured all light and met the attack head-on. Boom! 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 The 3 doomsdays collided with Fire Sky Halberd's sky-breaking halberd and exploded at the same time. The terrifying power blocked Fire Sky Halberd's attack and prevented him from getting close. Wrath of God's punishment, Fire Sky Halberd wasn't afraid of death. He took on the 3 attacks of annihilating heavenly punishment head-on. The 3 holy spirits gushed out of Yi Qianfeng's body. They formed a terrifying power that could change the color of the sky. It swept through the sky like a storm and attacked Fire Sky Halberd. The dual extreme ancient heavenly water had evolved into the everlasting holy water. It greatly increased the attack power of the godly wrath. It was comparable to the strongest mid-grade holy technique. The terrifying explosive power knocked Fire Sky Halberd back dozens of meters. His blood tumbled violently. Fire Spirit, I'll send you on your way first. When Yi Qianfeng used the wrath of God's punishment to force the Fire Sky Halberd back, he stepped on the sword and appeared in front of the Fire Spirit Saint, who was shocked. He used the stun spell and blasted it into a sea of soul, slowing down his defense. In the next moment, Yi Qianfeng exploded with more than 700 million pounds of power. He slammed it into Fire Spirit's body. It directly broke through the Sun, Moon, Mountain, River diagram's defense and surged into the Fire Spirit Saint's body. The Fire Spirit Saint spat out blood and howled in pain. Boom! The Fire Spirit Saint couldn't withstand the 700 million pounds of power. His entire body exploded in the air. He turned into a cloud of blood mist and died in the air. Fire Spirit, seeing the Fire Spirit Saint, who was his hope and the continuation of his life, being destroyed by Yi Qianfeng, Fire Sky Halberd's heart shattered. He fell into madness and roared like a trapped beast. He attacked Yi Qianfeng like a madman. He wanted to kill him and avenge the Fire Spirit Saint. Don't rush. It's your turn soon. Yi Qianfeng used his mind to control the Cosmos Sword Formation to block Fire Sky Halberd's fierce attack. He used his sword steps to break through Fire Sky Halberd's defense and approached him. He exploded with 700 million pounds of power and slammed into him. Boom! When Fire Sky Halberd's sky-breaking halberd collided with Yi Qianfeng's dragon-spine saintly sword, a force beyond his imagination passed into his body. He was forced to retreat, and a large amount of blood kept spurting out of his mouth. After injuring Fire Sky Halberd with one blow, Yi Qianfeng continued to attack. He kept using his killing moves to attack Fire Sky Halberd. He completely suppressed Fire Sky Halberd's offense and forced him to defend desperately. Just when Fire Sky Halberd was in danger and could die in Yi Qianfeng's hands at any time, a blurry shadow swept across the void at an amazing speed. It slashed out a sword and slashed towards Yi Qianfeng, who was fighting with Fire Sky Halberd. Cosmos Sword Formation block. When Yi Qianfeng sensed the might of this sword, even the void shattered. Yi Qianfeng decisively controlled the Cosmos Sword Formation to defend against this sword attack that came out of nowhere. However, the Cosmos Sword Formation actually trembled violently when it met this shocking sword attack. It was obvious that the power of this sword attack was extremely terrifying. It almost exceeded the limits of the Nirvana heavenly realm and posed a certain threat to Yi Qianfeng. In the next moment, this extremely fast shadow descended from the sky and blocked in front of Fire Sky Halberd. It controlled an extremely powerful sword formation made up of 81 quasi-sacred artifact, level ancient swords to attack Yi Qianfeng and fight fiercely with him. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, You can click on the bookmark button below to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1435. What a powerful attack! Who was this person? Why was his attacking power so powerful? Yi Qinfeng controlled the Cosmos sword formation with his mind and fought several rounds with a mysterious expert who was shrouded in a black robe and whose face could not be seen clearly. However, he was unable to suppress his attacks and revealed a shocked expression. Sword Ocean, the mysterious warrior, suddenly changed his moves. The 81 quasi-saint swords kept splitting into sword lights that tore through the void and turned into an endless sword ocean. Each attack was more powerful than the previous one, and it attacked Yi Qinfeng. Dragon subduing pillars facing the incoming sword ocean. Yi Qinfeng formed 9 dragons subduing pillars, which suppressed the void and formed a powerful energy ripple, which weakened the power of the sword ocean. Then Yi Qinfeng's body, which was comparable to the most powerful low-grade saint artifact, exploded with more than 700 million pounds of power, which crushed the incoming sword ocean. He rushed towards the mysterious warrior and punched towards his chest. With one punch, the space was twisted. The terrifying fist light shattered the space and forcefully interrupted the mysterious warrior's attack, forcing him to take a step back. Stop playing tricks and show your true self. Yi Qinfeng took a step forward, which shattered a large area of the ground. He held the dragon-spined saint sword and attacked the mysterious warrior like a tidal wave. While attacking, the god-eating brain was deducing. It turned into a powerful sound of Tao, which attacked the mysterious warrior's soul and slowed down his reaction. Thousands of falling leaves taking the attack of the sound of Tao head-on. The mysterious warrior turned his body. The evolved power of Tao turned into countless falling leaves, which cut through Yi Qinfeng's attack and dissolved it. Gu Jianga, Heart of Sword Bright Moon. As the two of them continuously executed their ultimate killing moves and clashed fiercely, Yi Qinfeng swept across the sky. The sword gleam that was branded with multiplication Tao patterns was mixed with the sound of the great Tao. It was like a bright moon hanging high up in the sky as it ruthlessly slashed down. It forcefully broke apart the 10,000 drifting leaves, and with one slash, it shattered the black robe that was made of special materials and sent him flying. Whoosh! Whoosh! The moment the mysterious warrior was sent flying, he threw out 3 pitch-black crystals, which flew towards Yi Qinfeng. Boom! Boom! 3 deafening explosions rang out. Yi Qinfeng, who was unable to dodge in time, was swallowed up by the explosive power of the 3 black crystals. His body, which was comparable to a low-grade saint artifact, began to show signs of shattering. He had no choice but to hide within the universe mirror. Aowen, Yi Qinfeng was forced into the universe realm by the 3 self-exploding stones. The great god's might fire Qilin suppressed the 5 elements sacred fire and tore it apart time and time again. It damaged its saint body and made its attacks weaker and weaker. Lei Yi, come with me. Yi Qinfeng lost his patience and brought the 4-star Tao Saint Lei Yi out of the universe realm and appeared in the chaotic sacred Fire Valley. 4-star Tao Saint sensing Lei Yi's strength. The mysterious expert, whose black robe was torn apart, revealed a solemn expression. His brows were tightly knitted together. Although his strength was extraordinary and he had reached the peak of the Nirvana heavenly realm, compared to a 4-star Tao Saint, there was still an insurmountable gap in strength. Moreover, Yi Qinfeng was not weaker than him. Qian Yi, it's actually you. Looking at the mysterious man who had an obvious sword wound on his chest that kept bleeding, Lei Yi immediately recognized him. He was one of the top 10 wandering cultivators in the Central World, the strongest in terms of overall strength. Qian Yi, you're the Lei tribe's leader, Lei Yi. Lei Yi recognized Qian Yi, and after Qian Yi repeatedly recognized him, Qian Yi also recognized him and said in surprise, You actually broke through the limit of the Nirvana heavenly realm and became a 4-star Tao saint. Qian Yi, it's actually him. Why would he help the sacred Fire Valley? Could it be that the person behind Phantom is him? Yi Qinfeng revealed a trace of surprise and kept analyzing Qian Ye's motive for rescuing Fire Sky Halberd. He wanted to know if he was directly related to the Phantom Assassin organization. Qian Yi, I lost to you thousands of years ago. Today, let's fight again. Let's see how much you've improved in these thousands of years. With that, Lei Yi held the sacred thunder sword in one hand and the mid-grade sacred treasure black crow sacred flag in the other, fiercely attacking Qian Yi. Okay, then let me see how much your strength has increased after breaking through to the 4-star Tao Saint realm. Qian Yi didn't retreat. Instead, he burned his powerful bloodline power and used his last trump card. He condensed 10 hands and fought with Lei Yi. Fire Sky Halberd, who can save you today? While Lei Yi and Qinya were fighting intensely, Yi Qinfeng appeared in front of Fire Sky Halberd, who had turned pale with fright and thrust his sword towards his chest. Heavenly fire, triple change on the verge of death. Fire Sky Halberd stimulated his greatest potential and used the heavenly fire, triple change again. He burned his powerful bloodline and raised his strength to the limit to block Yi Qinfeng's fierce attack. Vertigo artists, the two fought fiercely. Yi Qinfeng's 4-star Tao Saint Realm Soul Explosion formed a tide-like attack that blasted into Fire Sky Halberd's Sea of Soul, slowing down his reaction. In the next moment, the bronze sword soul merged into the dragon's pine sacred sword. A black, dragon-like sword light tore through the void like a spatial crack. It broke through Fire Sky Halberd's body defense and sent him flying. One of his arms was cut off by Yi Qinfeng, and a large amount of blood spurted out. Ah! With his arm cut off, Fire Sky Halberd let out a painful howl. In order to survive, he desperately swallowed all the pills that could increase his strength and fought like a cornered beast. It's useless. Today you will die without a doubt. As he spoke, Yi Qinfeng leaped high into the air and activated the Green Heaven's secret art. He transformed into a desolate furnace with innate Tao patterns intertwined. With a force of more than 700 million pounds, he fell like a meteorite and smashed towards the Fire Sky Halberd that was roaring in pain. Yi Qinfeng turned into the desolate furnace of heaven and smashed down. Fire Sky Halberd used his blood as a medium and constantly sent out a powerful palm print to shake the furnace. However, the furnace was too powerful. It also contained over 700 million pounds of strength and 3 spirit-level Tao diagrams. Fire Sky Halberd was seriously injured and couldn't resist it at all. Boom! The desolate furnace of heaven fell, and the terrifying force smashed Fire Sky Halberd's other arm. Fire Sky Halberd was smashed into the hard ground. Large amounts of blood seeped out from the cracks in the ground. Chaos Divine would devour. After severely injuring Fire Sky Halberd, Yi Qinfeng immediately summoned the Chaos Divine Wood. It extended tens of thousands of 5-colored roots and easily devoured the 3 heavenly fires in Fire Sky Halberd. Fire Sky Halberd, you can go to hell to reunite with your son. After devouring Fire Sky Halberd's 3 heavenly fires, Yi Qinfeng raised the Dragon's Pine sacred sword and pierced towards Fire Sky Halberd's cracked head. He wanted to crush Fire Sky Halberd's soul and end his life. Suddenly, a roaring fire dragon descended from the sky and burned everything in the void. It attacked Yi Qinfeng, wanting to force him back and save Fire Sky Halberd, who was hanging by a thread. Wrath of divine punishment. Facing the sudden attack of the fire dragon, Yi Qinfeng didn't panic. He didn't try to dodge at all. He controlled the 3 holy spirits to gush out of his body. They turned into a terrifying power of divine punishment and bombarded the fire dragon, directly shattering it. Chi, the fire dragon, was shattered by the wrath of divine punishment. The dragon's pine sacred sword carried a few 100 million pounds of strength and pierced into Fire Sky Halberd's head. It exploded his head and crushed his soul, sending him to hell. Visit the website, Gathered Cloud Pavilion, or visit the website directly. Mobile reading website. Book address. In order to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1436. Sword steps after killing Fire Sky Halberd in one strike. Yi Chen-feng flew up using the sword steps, leaving behind after images in the air as he rushed towards a thick layer of clouds. Thousands of sword rays intertwined and pierced through the layer of clouds, forcing out a thin old man in a dark red robe with a chiseled face. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement, test Yao Yan, it really is you. Looking at the old man forced out of the clouds, Yi Chen-feng confirmed many of his earlier speculations. The mastermind behind the assassination attempts on him time and time again was Yao Yan, and he guessed that the people behind the Phantom Assassin organization were Qian Yi, who had just appeared in Yao Yan. In addition to confirming his earlier speculations, he also unexpectedly felt a familiar aura from Yao Yan. Feng Qin, I really underestimated you. I didn't expect that in just a few years, an ant like you actually broke through to the 2-star Dao Saint realm. I think this should be due to the heavenly saint breaking pellet. Yao Yan was not like other people. He could tell that Yi Chen-feng was not a Nirvana expert, but a 2-star Dao Saint even stronger than Nirvana experts. Yao Yan, I also didn't expect that you were not only related to the Phantom Assassin organization, but also the Orochi royal family. Yi Chen-feng coldly replied, Feng Qin, I don't know if you have heard of this saying, smart people usually don't have good endings. Although Lei Yi and Fire Qilin were much stronger than Qian Ye's 5 elements, sacred fire, Yao Yan's face did not reveal a trace of panic. It was as if everything was under his control. That was only for the weak. For the strong, the strongest was the absolute truth. Yi Chen-feng tit for tat. Haha, Feng Qin, do you think that with their protection, victory is in your hands? Yao Yan laughed and said, Today I will let you know how stupid your decision to come to the sacred Fire Valley was. If the ancient demon lord was here, I might have avoided him, but you are still too far away. Yi Chen-feng deliberately made it clear. Well, let's see who gets the last laugh today. When Yao Yan heard Yi Chen-feng mention the ancient demon exalt, he could not help but frown slightly. He no longer bothered with wasting words with Yi Chen-feng. Instead, he wielded the Black Dawn sacred sword, a high-grade saint artifact covered in ancient runes, and attacked Yi Chen-feng. Bronze Sword Soul. Fuse Yi Chen-feng had many holy items, but they were all low-grade holy items. They could not be compared to the Black Dawn holy sword. To prevent the dragon spine holy sword from being damaged, he infused the bronze sword spirit into it to increase its power. The dragon spine holy sword and the Black Dawn holy sword clashed against each other, creating ripples of energy. The two terrifying powers clashed against each other, creating a powerful shockwave that went into the bodies of the two fighters, damaging them. And what kind of physique does Yao Yan have? Yi Chen-feng's god-devouring brain appeared. Waves of repulsive force broke through Yao Yan's body and disappeared, like a clay ox entering the sea. This caused Yi Chen-feng to reveal an expression of surprise. Break. After dispelling the powerful sword intent released by the dragon spine sacred sword, Yao Yan let out a roar as a powerful battle intent gushed out from his body, shattering the over 700 million pounds of power within the dragon spine sacred sword. He forcefully bent the dragon spine sacred sword, causing Yi Chen-feng's arm to go numb as he retreated step by step. Heaven-suppressing orb, Saint Blood Orb, fuse. Feeling that Yao Yan's strength was extremely terrifying, several times stronger than Qianya and almost on par with Lei Yi, Yi Qinfeng decisively fused the two holy treasures to increase his strength. With the invincible sword power, he fiercely fought with Yao Yan in the void. Cosmos sword formation Yi Qinfeng, and Yao Yan fought intensely for half an incense stick's worth of time. Gradually, he was suppressed by Yao Yan's ferocious attacks. He decisively changed his moves, controlling the sharp Cosmos sword to form a terrifying sword tornado, tearing apart Yao Yan's attacks. Cosmos sword formation, Cosmos strike. After blocking Yao Yan's ferocious attacks, Yi Qinfeng's mind moved, and the 108 Cosmos swords quickly combined together, bringing along a terrifying momentum of heaven and earth. Terrifying patterns of the great Tao fell as they slashed towards Yao Yan. The terrifying attack forced him to take a step back. 9 Yang battle physique awaken. Yao Yan took a deep breath and suppressed the surging blood in his body. He stimulated his powerful and mysterious physique, increasing his strength one step further. The terrifying battle physique caused the sky to change color. It also allowed him to surpass the limits of the Nirvana heavenly realm and possess the strength of a 4-star Tao Saint. A 4-star Tao Saint. What kind of secret was hidden in Yao Yan's body? Feeling Yao Yan's strength rising steadily, Yi Qinfeng revealed an extremely shocked expression. He felt that the secret in Yao Yan's body was no small matter. It was highly possible that he was an important chess piece of the ancient demon lord to stir up chaos in the central world. Dai. Yao Yan, whose battle intent was soaring, roared and slashed towards Yi Qinfeng with the blackly sacred sword in his hand. Terrifying sword light swept through everything, and the majestic Tao intent made people feel powerless. Extinction sword, Black Dragon Yao Yan attacked with shocking killing intent. Yi Qinfeng held the Dragon's Pine sacred sword in his hand and used all his strength to meet the attack. The 3 spirit-grade Tao diagrams transformed into Tao Si and merged with over 700 million kilograms of strength into the Dragon's Pine sacred sword, increasing the strength of the bronze sword soul to the greatest extent. It transformed into a black dragon that evolved the great Tao. It roared wildly as it clashed with the sword light that Yao Yan slashed out. Boom! 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 Loud explosions resounded throughout the sky. When the two attacks collided, it was as if the order of the 6 Taos had collapsed. Sword puppet defense. Although Yi Qinfeng's extinction sword, Black Dragon, was close to the attack limit, the difference in strength between him and Yao Yan was too great. In less than 3 breaths, his extinction sword, Black Dragon, was shattered. He quickly summoned the sword puppet to block in front of him, blocking the attacks of the invincible swords. Chaos Divine Wood, breaking all techniques. Yao Yan relied on his absolute strength to tear through the violent collision storm and approach Yi Qinfeng. When Yi Qinfeng's body emerged from the Chaos Divine Wood, the Chaos Divine Wood swayed and attacked Yao Yan with the Chaos 5 Elements light, forcing him to retreat. Holy Sovereign Cauldron. After experiencing the attack power of the Chaos Divine Wood, Yao Yan frowned slightly and summoned the mid-grade sacred treasure, Holy Sovereign Cauldron, which turned into a mini-hill and suppressed Yi Qinfeng. Yao Yan, these trump cards of yours are a little too shabby. Yi Qinfeng summoned the supreme grade sacred treasure, the Demon Emperor Cauldron, to block the attack. He deliberately humiliated Yao Yan, trying to anger him and disturb his mood. Boom! The Demon Emperor Cauldron and Holy Sovereign Cauldron collided in the void like 2 meteorites. The terrifying power instantly shattered the space within a 1-mile radius. Countless spatial cracks spread in the shattered void. A supreme grade, sacred treasure level alchemy cauldron. In the head-on collision, Yao Yan was shocked to find that his Holy Sovereign Cauldron was no match for Yi Qinfeng's Demon Emperor Cauldron. He immediately guessed that the Demon Emperor Cauldron was most likely a supreme grade, sacred treasure that was the best in the central world. His deep eyes burst into a fiery color. If he could get this supreme grade, sacred treasure-level Demon Emperor Cauldron, Not only would it greatly improve his foundation, but it would also enhance his alchemy ability. Maybe he would have a chance to refine the upper-grade sacred elixir that he dreamed of. This cauldron is really a waste for it to fall into your hands. Just give it to me. As he spoke, the will of Yao Yan's body quickly condensed and turned into a powerful giant hand that covered the sky. It covered the void and grabbed the demon emperor cauldron, trying to take it away. Moo! Suddenly, a beastly roar sounded. The demon emperor cauldron's implement spirit, the purple-eyed black rhinoceros soul, awakened. It controlled the demon emperor cauldron to crash into the giant hand condensed by Yao Yan and broke his attack. Yao Yan, the game is over. The moment the demon emperor cauldron broke Yao Yan's attack, Yi Qinfeng summoned the 5-star Dao Saint Song Kunwu. He was ready to kill him and destroy the sacred fire sect. Please visit the website, Yunlai Pavilion, or visit the website directly. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1437. 5-star Dao Saint. The moment Song Kunwu appeared, Yao Yan's expression changed. He never expected that not only did Yi Qinfeng have a 4-star Dao Saint by his side, he even had a 5-star Dao Saint protecting him. Watermark advertisement, test watermark, advertisement, test senior song. End the battle and kill Yao Yan. Yi Qinfeng urged via voice transmission. All right, leave it to me. Song Kunwu's figure moved and appeared in front of Yao Yan as if he had teleported. He stretched out his aged right hand that was filled with Dao Insight and pressed it towards Yao Yan's chest. He broke the Dao Insight attack that Yao Yan blasted out with a single palm strike and forced Yao Yan to retreat over 10 meters. While Song Kunwu and Yao Yan were fighting intensely, Yi Qinfeng used his sword steps and appeared beside the fire qilin. Together with the fire qilin, they attacked the severely injured 5 elements sacred flame. Bang! Under the attacks of Yi Qinfeng and the fire qilin, the 5 elements sacred flame was destroyed once again. Primal chaos divine would devour, while the 5 elemental sacred flame was forcefully reforming his sacred body. Yi Qinfeng summoned the chaos divine wood. He controlled the chaos divine wood to devour the severely injured and weakened 5 elemental sacred flame. He wanted to forcefully suppress it. Who after being devoured by the primal chaos divine wood, the 5 elements sacred flame sensed danger and burned its sacred body to resist the primal chaos divine wood. However, its injuries were too severe, and the primal chaos divine wood was its nemesis. It couldn't resist the primal chaos divine wood at all and was restrained by the 5 colored roots in its sacred body. Its sacred body was constantly being devoured by the primal chaos divine wood. Fire qilin, go and help Lei Yi kill Qianyi. When the primal chaos divine wood was devouring the 5 elements sacred flame, Yi Qinfeng ordered loudly. All right. The fire qilin let out a roar as it charged toward Qianyi, who was being completely suppressed by Lei Yi. It continued to attack him fiercely, worsening his injuries. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Seeing that Qianyi was heavily injured and was no match for Lei Yi, a series of ear-piercing sounds rang out. Several phantom assassins with slender figures wearing black martial art suits and silver masks appeared. They held sharp swords in their hands and attacked Lei Yi. Myriad lightning danced suddenly attacked by the phantom assassins. Lei Yi conjured the great Dao and transformed it into a sea of lightning. Large amounts of lightning surged out of his body and attacked the phantom assassins who were close to him like dancing snakes. Bang, bang, bang being attacked by Lei Yi's ultimate move. The bodies of the phantom assassins were directly shattered by the terrifying wild lightning, turning into a bloody mist. 10,000 kills when Lei Yi Dong killed the phantom assassin. A crack suddenly appeared in the ground beneath him. A woman in a dark red martial arts suit, holding a pair of invincible saint weapons, swallowed the blood chi in the air and launched a fatal attack at Lei Yidong, wanting to injure him severely. Ghost King Thunder Region Lei Yi had broken through to become a 4-star Dao Saint, and his strength was far greater than the experts of the Central World. He had sensed the danger in advance and used the Thunder Race's strongest move to attack. A lightning field that seemed to have come from the underworld sucked away 1/10 of his Dao power. With a power that could crush all living things, it blasted towards the woman in red, whose expression changed slightly. Boom! The Ghost King lightning domain exploded, and the terrifying power instantly shattered all of the great killing moves that the red-robed woman had continuously unleashed and blasted into her body, tearing apart her defenses, blasting her from midair and smashing into the ground, creating a deep crater. Mei Ho, looking at the woman who was heavily injured by the Ghost King lightning domain and lying in the crater, Lei Yi recognized her. She was the legendary controller of the Phantom Assassins, the Nirvana Heavenly Realm expert, Mei Ho. Roar, 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 roar when Lei Yi heavily injured the Demon Queen. The Fire Qilin's enormous body ceaselessly exerted force as it smashed towards the heavily injured Qianyi, shattering his numerous hands of Dao insight and shaking him to the point he retreated repeatedly, and he practically lost the ability to resist. It was over. The Fire Qilin heavily injured Qianyi, and Lei Yi attacked him with the sacred Thunder Sword, wanting to end his life in one move. Explode! At this moment, Yao Yan, who was fighting fiercely with Song Kanwu, took a deep look at Qianyi, whose arm was shattered and who was powerless to resist. He lightly spat out a word, conveying an important message to him. In the next moment, a powerful explosive force spread out from Qianyi's body. When Lei Yi and the Fire Qilin were close to him, he suddenly self-detonated his heart meridians, delivering the most fatal blow to them. Although Lei Yi and the Fire Qilin had sensed the danger and dodged in advance, Qianyi had reached the limit of the Nirvana Heavenly Realm, and the power of his self-detonation was extremely great. Lei Yi and the others were heavily injured, and their bodies were sent flying. The Phantom Assassins attacked with all their might. Mei Ho seized the opportunity when Lei Yi and the Fire Qilin were injured and ordered the Phantom Assassins to assassinate them. 10,000 Calamity Flag. Chaotic void. Although Lei Yi was not lightly injured, his attacks were still fierce, as he controlled the terrifying Dao energy to fuse into the myriad Calamity Flag. Just as he was about to shake it, the space around him and the Fire Unicorn's bodies became chaotic. Any Phantom Assassin that got close to them were all crushed by the myriad Calamity Flag's power, and not even their bones remained. Yao Yan, your momentum is gone. Accept your fate obediently. Yi Qinfeng controlled the primal chaos divine wood and successfully swallowed the 5 elementals sacred fire. He turned back and attacked Yao Yan together with Song Kanwu, wanting to kill him and eliminate a huge threat. Feng Qin, do you really think that you have everything under your control? Yao Yan didn't panic in the face of danger. Today, I will let you see Ai's true strength. As he spoke, Yao Yan released the mysterious power in his body and transferred it into his body. When Yao Yan released the mysterious power from the Demon Lord's bloodline, the God-devouring brain could clearly feel that this power was the Demon Lord's bloodline. What is the relationship between Yao Yan and the ancient Demon Lord in the Devil Mountain? This is the Demon Lord's projection. Could it be that there is a clone of the Demon Lord hidden in Yao Yan's body? Or is he a clone of the Demon Lord? When Yi Qinfeng was guessing the relationship between Yao Yan and the ancient Demon Lord, the God-devouring brain saw the Demon Lord's projection in Yao Yan's body and vaguely guessed Yao Yan's identity. It seems like the ancient Demon Lord and the 8 divergent divine country have been plotting against the Central World for a long time. However, if I can kill Yao Yan, I can break one of the ancient Demon Lord's arms and disrupt their plans. Primal Chaos Divine Beast, Golden Clear Dragon Bloodlion, come out. Thinking of this, Yi Chen-feng summoned the two saint beasts and attacked Yao Yan together, wanting to kill him. At this time, Lei Yi and the Fire Qilin stabilized their injuries and rushed over. They used all their strength to attack Yao Yan. Terrifying attacks shook the heavens and the earth. In an instant, the space around Yao Yan collapsed. "It's useless. Ants like you won't be able to injure me." The ancient demon, Lord's projection, completely appeared in Yao Yan's body. It isolated the space and dissolved Yi Chen-feng's, Tsang Kuan-wu's, and the others' attacks. True Devil Heaven arts forcefully blocking the attacks of Yi Chen-feng and the others. Yao Yan's body continued to emit terrifying demonic shadows as they rushed towards Yi Chen-feng and the others, injuring the two saint beasts and Yi Chen-feng with a single attack. "You force me to use my final trump card. Even if you die, you can be proud." Yao Yan, who was surrounded by devil qi, seemed to have changed into a different person. His terrifying strength brought a fatal threat to Yi Chen-feng and the others. Visit Gathering Cloud Pavilion or visit the website directly. Mobile reading website. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1438. Senior Tsang, I'll lend you the 9 dragons, Jade Annulus. Yi Chen-feng ignored his injuries and appeared beside Tsang Kuan-wu with sword steps. He then lent the 9 dragons, Jade Annulus, to Tsang Kuan-wu. Roar! Roar! 6 deafening dragon roars resounded. 6 terrifying, murderous dragons with invincible Dao might collided with the phantoms of true devils that Yao Yan had conjured using the true devil heavenly incantation, forcibly blocking his ultimate killing move. Demon Emperor's Furnace. Suppress everything. When Tsang Kuan-wu and Yao Yan were fighting, Yi Chen-feng continuously spat out blood essence into the Demon Emperor's furnace, activating the purple-eyed profound Rhino soul. He controlled the Demon Emperor's furnace to grow bigger and release a terrifying force. B68, the suppressive force, suppressed Yao Yan's body and weakened his attacks. Although Yao Yan's combined strength with the ancient demon phantoms was terrifying, his attacks were still restrained when he was attacked by 2 supreme-grade sage artifacts at the same time. His killer moves were weakened by the suppressive force released by the Demon Emperor's furnace and couldn't threaten Yi Chen-feng, Tsang Kuan-wu, and the others. 1,000-layered precipice array restrict. Yi Chen-feng was determined to kill Yao Yan, who was hiding a huge secret. When Tsang Kuan-wu, Lei Yi, and the others besieged him, he summoned thousands of array flags and formed the 1,000-layered precipice array with extremely strong defensive power. It restricted the entire space and sealed off Yao Yan's escape route. With his escape route sealed, Yao Yan's expression changed slightly. However, he didn't break out because of his powerful strength. He executed the heavenly fire triple transformation and ignited the 3 great flames in his body, raising his strength to the peak. Borrowing the power of the ancient demon phantoms, he interweaved hundreds of sword lights that tore through the sky. They were like blooming lotuses as they shattered the attacks of Yi Chen-feng and the others, forcing them to retreat. Chaos Divine Wood, 9 Dragons Portrait, Kunwu Realm, 1,000 Calamity Flag, Black Raven, Sacred Flag. Yao Yan's attacks were too ferocious. Yi Chen-feng and the others couldn't get close to him. However, they had treasures on them. Under the attacks of several great sage artifacts, Yao Yan's attacks were gradually suppressed. His injuries started to worsen, and a trace of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. Black Devil Sacred Flame. Devil incinerates the world. Yao Yan roared. Scorching black sacred flame gushed out from his body like 1,000 layers of waves, burning the sky, resisting the attacks of Yi and the others' attacks. Wrath of Goddess, the black demonic holy flame approached. Yi Chen-feng immediately used Wrath of God's punishment, shattering the wave-like, black, demonic holy flame. In the next moment, Tsang Kuan Wu suddenly closed in on Yao Yan and used the extremely powerful Empyrean art to fight him in close combat. Tsang Kuan Wu was a 5-star Dao saint, and the Vast Heaven art was a great killing technique that had been passed down in Vast Heaven Palace for countless years. Under his full-strength attack, he was evenly matched with Yao Yan and was able to restrain the fiend arts that the primordial fiend lord kept unleashing. Ghost King, Thunder Domain, Primal Chaos 5 Elements Light, Fire Kylan Life, and Death bored while Tsang Kuan Wu and Yao Yan were fighting in close combat. Lei Yi and the other 2 saint beasts besieged Yao Yan. At the same time, they executed their killing moves to attack Yao Yan's body. Yao Yan's defense was forcibly broken under the attacks that were filled with destructive power. At this time, Yi Qinfeng took a step forward and suddenly approached Yao Yan. With one hand, he summoned the Dao Si formed by the 3 spirit grade Dao diagrams, and with the other hand, he summoned a force of more than 700 million kilograms that pierced through Yao Yan's broken defense and slammed into his back. Kacha! Although the primordial fiend lord had neutralized most of the attacks, Yao Yan still suffered heavy injuries. His entire back was badly mutilated, and a large number of bones were shattered. Demon's Arch Furnace Fall. After successfully injuring Yao Yan, Yi Qinfeng immediately controlled the Demon's Arch Furnace to shake off the mid-grade saint artifact, Sage Sovereign Cauldron, and ruthlessly fell down, forcing Yao Yan, who was unable to dodge, to defend with all his strength. Empyrean Art 16D0BR, when Yao Yan borrowed the power of the primordial fiend lord to defend against the Sage Sovereign Cauldron. Tsang Kuan Wu executed the strongest move he knew. He blasted out a series of killing moves that could destroy the sky, continuously attacking Yao Yan's body. His chest caved in, and he was forced to retreat step by step. His entire body was almost shattered. Fiend Lord, help me! With his life hanging by a thread, Yao Yan burned the primordial fiend Lord's phantom and forcefully suppressed the injuries on his body, wanting to break out of the encirclement and escape. Yao Yan, this will be your grave. Obediently accept your fate. Yi Qinfeng didn't give him a chance to escape. He quickly gave an ancient jade peach that was close to 300,000 years old to the strongest Tsang Kuan Wu. After consuming the ancient jade peach, Tsang Kuan Wu instantly recovered the Dao energy that he used to control the 9 dragon jade annulus. He blocked in front of Yao Yan and executed the Empyrean art to continue attacking him. Old man, I will send you to the afterlife first. Yao Yan, whose entire body was overflowing with demonic qi, roared. His hands that were dripping with blood quickly twisted, evolving a terrifying killing move that bombarded towards Tsang Kuan Wu. When Tsang Kuan Wu relied on his absolute strength to resolve Yao Yan's killing move, Yao Yan pushed the 9-sun battle physique to the limit. His entire body fused with the high-grade saint artifact, Black Dawn's sacred sword, and wanted to borrow the power of the Black Dawn's sacred sword to tear apart the defense. 9 dragon jade annulus, 6 dragon absolute kill. In a flash, Tsang Kuan Wu held the 9 dragon jade annulus and blocked in front of Yao Yan. When he used the 9 dragon jade annulus to block Yao Yan's sword attack, he poured a large amount of Dao energy into the 9 dragon jade annulus, condensing it into 6 deadly dragons that bombarded towards Yao Yan. Demon Lord, help me block. Yao Yan had already experienced how terrifying the 9 dragon jade annulus was. He controlled the ancient demon Lord to block in front of him, blocking the 6 deadly attacks of the 9 dragon jade annulus. 10,000 calamity flag, Black Raven's sacred flag, chaotic space. While Yao Yan and Tsang Kuan Wu were fighting fiercely, Lei ignored the danger and tore apart the terrifying storm of destruction. He closed in on Yao Yan, and with 2 mid-grade saint banners in his hands, he attacked Yao Yan's body and continued to worsen his injuries. I will remember this enmity. Next time, I will definitely return it 100-fold. Yao Yan didn't expect that after revealing his greatest trump card, he would still be restrained by Yi Qinfeng and the others. His injuries were getting more and more serious. He left behind a ruthless sentence, took out a fist-sized black crystal, and quickly detonated it. "Come back!" The instant Yao Yan detonated the crystal, Yi Qinfeng immediately teleported Song Kunwu and the others into the universe realm. However, he left the indestructible sword puppet outside. Boom! The black crystal exploded, and the terrifying power destroyed everything. Space collapsed, and the 1,000-layered precipice formation that restricted the void was smashed into pieces. Just as Yao Yan borrowed the last of the ancient demon lord's power to resist the explosion of the black crystal and tried his best to break out of the encirclement, a black figure that could ignore the power of the explosion suddenly appeared. Like an octopus, it clasped Yao Yan's heavily injured body and restricted his mobility. No, with his mobility restricted, Yao Yan had to endure even more destructive attacks. He desperately counterattacked, wanting to break out before the ancient demon lord's shadow shattered. Boom! Boom! Under Yao Yan's frenzied attacks, the sword puppet that locked onto his body was blasted away. At this moment, the ancient demon lord's shadow also shattered. The terrifying destructive power gave Yao Yan a devastating blow, crazily destroying his corporeal body and destroying his vitality. Yao Yan, go to hell! Yao Yan relied on his powerful will to break out of the encirclement. When the demon emperor's furnace appeared, it brought along boundless suppressive power and ruthlessly suppressed his bloodied and broken body. It crushed his head, scattered his soul, and killed him. Mobile reading website. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1439. 2 days later, a huge piece of news exploded in the central world. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement, test the sacred Fire Valley, a top sacred ground in the central world that had Nirvana realm cultivators and 5-element sacred fire was destroyed. Octahead Kingdom's Devil Might King, Phantom Assassin Organization's leader Mei Ho, and others died in the sacred Fire Valley. The culprit was Yi Qinfeng and his people who destroyed the Octahead Kingdom's palace and brought destruction to Octahead Kingdom. However, because Yi Qinfeng purposely blocked the news, the outside world didn't know that Yao Yan and Chen Yi, one of the top 10 wandering cultivators of the central world, also died in the sacred Fire Valley. Otherwise, it would cause an even bigger commotion. At that moment, 16D0, the name Feng Qin, became even more famous in the central world and attracted a lot of attention. However, out of everyone's expectations, Octahead Kingdom didn't retaliate and didn't announce to the outside world that they would kill Yi Qinfeng at all costs. This made many factions smell something unusual. In the Octahead Palace, "Father, how should we deal with Yi Qinfeng?" Octahead Godly Emperor Qi Qingtian came to the old godly Emperor Qi Yixian's cultivation cave and told him about Yi Qinfeng destroying the sacred Fire Valley. Don't take revenge on Yi Qinfeng yet. According to the Demon Lord, Yi Qinfeng not only had a 4-star Dao Saint protecting him, but also a 5-star Dao Saint. Yao Yan and Chen Yi, who was controlled by the Demon Lord, also died in their hands. Qi Yixian, who was sitting cross-legged on a piece of jade that was emitting strands of spirit qi, opened his tightly closed eyes and said in a low voice, "What? Yao Yan and Chen Yi are dead?" Qi Qingtian gasped and said in shock, "Where did that little bastard come from? Why are there so many Dao Saints around him?" He knew the importance of Yao Yan. Yao Yan was a very important chess piece of the ancient demon Venerable. His fall not only disrupted the ancient demon Venerable's plan, but also caused immeasurable losses to the Octahead Divine Kingdom. "Father, how long will it take for the Demon Lord to truly awaken?" Qi Qingtian asked while suppressing his shock. Yao Yan's death had already awakened a portion of Lord Devil Lord's consciousness. However, Lord Devil Lord's injuries during the ancient war were too severe. It would probably take a few more years for him to fully recover and awaken. Taking a deep breath, Qi Xian said, "Let the Yi Qinfeng and the others be arrogant for a while first. When Mo Ling Sheng Darren recovers from his injury, it will be the time of their death." "Father, should we spread the news of Yao Yan's and Chenya's deaths and borrow Yao Yan's strength to deal with Qi Qingtian?" Buki Yixian shook his head and said, "At this critical juncture, we must not have any conflict with that Yi Qinfeng. Even more, we must not cause unnecessary casualties." Okay then. However, when he thought about the terrifying power Yi Qinfeng possessed, he knew that tolerating him was the wisest choice. Greenleaf Village was a quiet town within the Kirin Kingdom's sphere of influence. The people were simple and honest, and the scenery was pleasant. After plundering the sacred Fire Valley, killing Yao Yan, Qian Yi, and the others, Yi Qinfeng arrived at this place on the spirit boat. He rented a quiet little courtyard and settled down to rest. The chaos divine would refine the two sacred fires. After settling down, Yi Qinfeng entered the universe realm. He controlled the chaos divine would to refine the 5 elements sacred fire and killed Yao Yan to obtain the black demon's sacred fire. Once the chaos divine would refine the 2 sacred fires, Yi Qinfeng would be able to control the 3 sacred fires and cultivate the heavenly fire triple layer transformation. While the chaos divine would refine the 2 sacred fires, he checked the spoils of war from killing Yao Yan and the others. High-grade, sacred, weapon Black Dawn, sacred sword. Mid-grade, sacred treasure, holy sovereign cauldron. Mid-grade, sacred weapon Chinya robe. Mid-grade, sacred weapon sky-breaking halberd. Other than these incomparably precious sacred artifacts and sacred artifacts, Yi Qinfeng also obtained 81 quasi-sacred swords from Qian Yi, 5 low-grade sacred swords, and 31 quasi-sacred swords from the sacred Fire Valley, 8 low-grade sacred swords, and 53 quasi-sacred swords from Yao Yan's body, including the quasi-sacred swords from the Qi city. Yi Qinfeng increased the number of swords in the universe sword formation to 230 swords. Among them, 26 swords were low-grade sacred artifacts, and the rest were quasi-sacred swords. In order to increase the power of the universe sword formation to the greatest extent, Yi Qinfeng integrated the high-grade sacred weapon Black Dawn sacred sword he obtained from killing Yao Yan into the universe sword formation, causing the power of the universe sword formation to reach the limit of high-grade sacred artifacts. Just the sword formation alone was enough to kill a Nirvana heavenly realm master. Yao Yan was indeed worthy of being one of the Central World's top holy sovereigns. He actually had so many holy pills and origin treasures on him. Other than obtaining a large number of sacred artifacts and sacred artifacts, Yi Qinfeng also obtained a large number of holy pills and origin treasures that were rarely seen in the Central World from Yao Yan's belongings. And there was a matured longevity fruit and a supreme grade spirit vessel. In the end, Yi Qinfeng also found a longevity fruit that was extremely useful to Yao Yan. It could restore 10,000 years of lifespan and a supreme grade spirit vessel. "Qinfeng, who are we going to deal with next?" Song Kanwu asked when he received a low-grade sacred pill from Yi Qinfeng. Leaving the Central World, they headed to the abyss of hell in the East Continent. After confirming that the mystery of his origin was related to the abyss of hell, Yi Qinfeng couldn't wait to head to the abyss of hell to solve the mystery of his origin. Roughly 3 days later, Yi Qinfeng fully recovered from his injuries. After 3 days of refinement, the Chaos Divine would had completely refined the Black Devil Holy Flame and 5 elemental sacred fire. Holy Flame, triple-layered transformation with the help of the 3 sacred fires. Yi Qinfeng successfully executed the Holy Flame, triple-layered transformation and forcefully raised his strength to the limit of a 3-star Tao Saint. The Holy Flame, triple-layered transformation didn't disappoint him. Yi Qinfeng was very satisfied with the increase in his strength after executing the Holy Flame triple-layered transformation. With a single thought, he left the universe realm and steered the supreme-grade spirit vessel that he seized. He flew across the vast land and headed to the edge of the central world. Yao Yan's spirit vessel had been refined and modified by him time after time, so its flying speed was extremely fast. Yi Qinfeng only used 4 days to cross the vast land, pass through the space restriction, and return to the eastern continent. What is that? Looking at the spirit vessel that flew out of the Nine Chasm, many experts from the other continents who were preparing to enter the Nine Chasm were deeply shocked and exclaimed. Yi Qinfeng didn't care about the exclamations outside. He steered the spirit vessel and quickly disappeared from the Nine Chasm, heading straight for the abyss of hell. After another 3 days, the spirit vessel appeared at the edge of the abyss of hell. B68 Yi Qinfeng kept the spirit vessel and flew towards the abyss of hell alone. More than 10 Emperor-level experts with extraordinary aura flew out from the abyss of hell and intercepted him. Stop! The abyss of hell has been sealed. Outsiders are not allowed to enter. An old man with snow-white hair and a bone staff in his hand warned loudly. Did Blood River ask you to seal this place? Looking at the Emperor-level experts who were sealing the entrance to the abyss of hell, Yi Qinfeng guessed their identity and asked in a low voice, Your Excellency is... Hearing Yi Qinfeng mention Blood River, the white-haired old man and the others were surprised. The way they looked at Yi Qinfeng was constantly changing. Who am I? Don't you already know? After saying that, Yi Qinfeng's body flashed and disappeared before their eyes like a bolt from the blue. He broke into the abyss of hell, which was full of hidden dangers. Yunlei is going to start sorting out the plot and strive to end the dueling spirit continent perfectly. Starting tomorrow, mobile reading home, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1440. Teleport entering the abyss of hell. Yi Qinfeng immediately crushed the teleport stone and teleported directly to the abyss of hell. Arriving at the 2 teleportation circles, he used the one on the right to enter the deepest part of the abyss of hell. Purple-eyed rhino soul, where is the inheritance of the immortal you spoke of? Yi Qinfeng asked as he looked at the gloomy space in front of him that was filled with floating will-o'-the-wisps. He summoned the furnace of the demon emperor and awakened the purple-eyed mystic rhino. The inheritance of the immortal is in the deepest part of the abyss of hell. Looking at the familiar environment, the purple-eyed rhino soul said, Purple-eyed rhino soul, 111 other than the inheritance of the immortal. What other opportunities are there in the abyss of hell? The abyss of hell was the tomb of the purple-eyed rhino soul, so it was very familiar with this place. Yi Qinfeng continued to ask, In the deepest part of the abyss of hell, other than the inheritance of the immortal, there is also a powerful being of the divine race suppressed. The purple-eyed rhino soul didn't hide anything and said frankly. Yi Qinfeng, who was suppressing the powerful being of the divine race, raised his eyebrows and said in surprise, Is the powerful being of the divine race suppressed in the abyss of hell even more terrifying than the immortal? He can't kill him, only suppress him. No, with the immortal strength, killing the powerful being of the divine race was easy. But why did he suppress him? I don't know. The purple-eyed rhino soul shook its head. Let's go. Take me to the place where the immortal left his inheritance. Yi Qinfeng didn't hesitate and followed the purple-eyed rhino soul to the deepest part of the abyss of hell. What's up ahead? While flying at high speed, Yi Qinfeng discovered that a tidal wave of wind had suddenly appeared in front of him. It covered the entire space and surged towards him at an extremely fast speed. Due to the suppression of the mysterious power in the abyss of hell, the perception of the God-Eater brain was greatly affected. He was unable to detect the black tidal wave of wind immediately. That was the Black Spirit Tide. It was a spirit tide formed from the lingering souls of the ancient war. It was quite powerful. Even an ordinary Nirvana realm expert would have a hard time surviving if they were swept into the Black Spirit Tide. The purple-eyed rhino soul glanced at the black tide-like storm from afar and said, "The purple-eyed, profound rhinoceros soul. In that battle, how many supreme expert of the Tian clan had died?" Yi Qinfeng asked. The 2 heavenly emperors, several heavenly venerables, and more than a dozen heavenly saints were immersed in their memories. The Sky Emperor, even the Sky Emperor, has fallen. Yi Qinfeng was quite familiar with the division of realms between the various races in the heaven domain. According to the division of strength, the heaven race cultivators were divided into Heaven Saint, Heaven Sovereign, Heaven Emperor, Heaven Master, Heaven God, and Heaven Ancestor. Corresponding to the human race cultivators were Tao Saint, Tao Sovereign, Tao Emperor, Tao Lord, Tao God, and Tao Ancestor. It was extremely difficult to cultivate to the Tao Emperor realm, and the Tao Emperor was already an overlord in the heaven region. The Emperor lineage was extremely vast and was an extremely terrifying existence. And if not for being hunted down by 2 heavenly emperors, my fleshly body wouldn't have been destroyed and my soul almost turned to ashes. The purple-eyed, profound rhinoceros soul's eyes were filled with deep hatred. If that's the case, the one suppressed in the deepest part of the abyss of hell should be one of the 2 heavenly emperors. Yi Qinfeng guessed. No, the 2 natural enemies who chased after me were killed by that deity. The one suppressed in the deepest part of the abyss of hell is not them. The purple-eyed, profound rhinoceros soul shook its head. No. Yi Qinfeng frowned slightly. He felt that the abyss of hell was not that simple. Moo, 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 open for me. As they approached the Black Spirit Tide, the purple-eyed, profound rhinoceros soul let out a piercing roar. Like an invincible divine sword that could split the Black Spirit Tide, it tore through the Black Spirit Tide and brought Yi Qinfeng through the dangerous Black Spirit Tide. Soon, with the purple-eyed, profound rhinoceros soul leading the way, Yi Qinfeng passed through the Black Spirit Tide and continued to fly towards the depths of the abyss of hell. The purple-eyed, profound rhinoceros soul was very familiar with the abyss of hell. Under its guidance, Yi Qinfeng did not encounter much danger. They arrived at the depths of the abyss of hell and saw the ruins of an ancient city that had been lost for a long time. Purple-eyed, profound rhinoceros soul, what is this place? Yi Qinfeng asked as he looked at the ruins of the ancient city shrouded in black fog. That ancient city was the place where the deities suppressed the powerful beings of the divine race. The purple-eyed, profound rhinoceros soul said, but there are many restrictions in the ancient city. Even I have never been in, so I don't know what is inside, but the deity's inheritance might be in there. Come, let's go take a look. With that, Yi Qinfeng and the purple-eyed, profound rhinoceros soul flew towards the ruins of the ancient city. Soon, they arrived at a severely damaged and cracked city gate. What a terrifying restriction! Looking at the ancient city in front of them, the god-eating brain quickly deduced that there was an unimaginable restriction power in the ancient city. This restriction power was stronger than any restriction that Yi Qinfeng had ever seen before. Even the restriction power of the Demon Mountain in the Orochi Palace could not compare to this ancient city. How could they enter the ancient city? Yi Qinfeng looked at the city gate that was sealed by the terrifying restriction power. With a thought, he evolved the demonic beast. 184, he summoned the space-swallowing bug and had it devour the restriction power of the city gate. Buzz, buzz, buzz. When the space-swallowing bug devoured the restriction power of the city gate, a large amount of light suddenly appeared on the dim restriction power and attacked the space-swallowing bug at a speed several times faster than the speed of light. Space-swallowing bug, come back! The space-swallowing bug was in danger. Yi Qinfeng decisively called it back into the universe realm and quickly retreated with the purple-eyed, profound rhinoceros soul. The moment they retreated, thousands of restriction lights hit the space they were in and directly penetrated the solid space wall. It seemed that it was impossible to force their way in. Looking at the floating light of the ancient city ruins, Yi Qinfeng closed his eyes and controlled the god-eating brain to quickly deduce the possible entrance. But the god-eating brain quickly deduced for several hours and found that the restriction power surrounding the ancient city ruins was impenetrable. There was no way to enter. Do you want me to try? Looking at Yi Qinfeng, who was frowning and trying to think of a way to enter, the purple-eyed, profound rhinoceros soul said. Yi Qinfeng opened his closed eyes and nodded. Be careful. If there is any danger, I will send you into the universe realm. Demon Emperor's furnace, become bigger. The purple-eyed, profound rhinoceros soul entered the Demon Emperor's furnace and controlled it to become bigger. Like a burning meteorite, it slammed into the restriction power of the ancient city gate. It wanted to use the power of the Demon Emperor's furnace to tear the restriction power by force. Buzz! Attacked by the Demon Emperor's furnace, the restriction power of the ancient city gate fluctuated. A large amount of light rushed in and continuously attacked the Demon Emperor's furnace. In the blink of an eye, cracks appeared on the surface of the supreme-grade, sacred treasure Demon Emperor's furnace, and the purple-eyed, profound rhinoceros soul was severely injured. Universe realm, withdraw. At the critical moment, Yi Qinfeng controlled the universe realm to send the severely injured Demon Emperor's furnace into the universe realm to prevent it from being destroyed by the ancient city's restriction power. This restriction power was so strong that it could even destroy supreme-grade, sacred treasures. Witnessing the scene just now, Yi Qinfeng couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. He was very clear about the hardness of supreme-grade, sacred treasures. He estimated that only the legendary true spirit sacred treasures could destroy them. However, the restriction in front of him could easily shatter the demonic emperor's furnace. This made him surprised by the remarkable ability of the person who set up this restriction. How could he get in? Yi Qinfeng looked at the restriction power that could kill him in seconds and thought hard about how to get in. Mobile reading site. Book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Collect button below to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1441. Chaos Divine would, after thinking for a while, Yi Qinfeng summoned his natal treasure, the Chaos Divine Wood. He controlled the Chaos Divine Wood to carefully approach the restriction sealing the ancient city's entrance. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement, test. If this ancient city's ruins are related to my background, then the Chaos Divine Wood should not be attacked. Yi Qinfeng muttered to himself. The God-Eater brain, which was rapidly deducing, was paying attention to the changes in the ancient city's entrance restriction. Once the Chaos Divine Wood was attacked, he would immediately recall it. Buzz! When the Chaos Divine Wood touched the ancient city's entrance restriction, the floating restriction became slightly restless, but it did not attack the Chaos Divine Wood. 5B for Chaos Divine Wood. Restriction break after repeatedly testing it several times. Yi Qinfeng was completely relieved. He controlled the Chaos Divine Wood to constantly grow bigger. It swayed its 5-colored treetop and released chaotic 5-element light, repeatedly attacking the entrance restriction. In an instant, the terrifying restriction that could shatter a supreme-grade sacred treasure was torn apart by the Chaos Divine Wood. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and stepped on the sword, turning into sword shadows. He took the risk of passing through the restriction cracks and entered the ancient city's ruins. Yes, there's a large formation in front of him. After entering the ancient city's ruins, Yi Qinfeng found a mysterious large formation with flowing formation patterns in front of him. He quickly communicated with the purple-eyed, profound rhino soul. Yes, I can communicate. When communicating with the purple-eyed, profound rhino soul, Yi Qinfeng found that a mysterious force had cut off his connection with the universe mirror. Not only was he unable to communicate with the purple-eyed, profound rhino soul, but he also lost contact with the chaos divine that he had just summoned and merged with his body. Junior, being able to enter this place means that you are fated to be here. However, entering here means that you only have two paths to take. Either you live or die. Just as Yi Qinfeng was trying to communicate with the chaos divine wood and the universe mirror, a deep voice suddenly sounded in the ancient formation. An old face appeared on the large formation with flowing, mysterious formation patterns. It looked at Yi Qinfeng with turbid eyes. The terrifying gaze made Yi Qinfeng's heart palpitate. 5B, for I am the spirit of this formation. Looking at the old face, Yi Qinfeng vaguely guessed his identity and said in a serious tone, "Yes, I am the Array Spirit's." Old face said, "Well, don't waste time. You have no choice in entering here." "Okay, I'm willing to take the test." Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and slowly walked towards the great array that was flowing with mysterious energy. When Yi Qinfeng walked into the array formation, the flowing array formation started to spin rapidly. He found himself in a vast and empty wilderness. Large numbers of gigantic and extremely ferocious demonic beasts were fighting and hunting in the wilderness. The appearance of Yi Qinfeng immediately attracted the attention of all the demonic beasts in the wilderness. One by one, the terrifying demonic beasts let out extremely ferocious roars and flew towards Yi Qinfeng with terrifying demonic qi. They wanted to tear apart and devour Yi Qinfeng, who had trespassed into their territory. Sword step. Although Yi Qinfeng couldn't borrow any external force or use any treasures in the formation, his foundation was extremely deep. His body was comparable to a low-grade saint artifact and a mid-grade saint beast. Facing the ferocious demonic beasts, he didn't retreat. Instead, he used the sword step to meet them. He interweaved sword patterns and fought with the demonic beasts in the wilderness. With one step, tens of thousands of swords shot out. The terrifying sword Dao patterns were like winding lightning. They constantly pierced through the demonic beasts that got close to him and tore them into pieces. Blood splattered all over the ground. B68 AOL Yi Qinfeng was crazily killing. An ancient barbarian elephant the size of a small mountain with a dark, golden body and hair like fine needles appeared. It stepped on the ground and emitted a buzzing sound. It exploded with a shocking impact and charged towards Yi Qinfeng. Super tyrannical kick. When the ancient barbarian elephant attacked, Yi Qinfeng, who was covered in blood, leaped into the air and used a powerful kick. With one step, heaven and earth were suppressed and all living things wailed. The tyrannical kick was extremely heavy. It directly stomped the ancient barbarian elephant that was the size of a small mountain into the hard ground. All the bones in its body were instantly shattered. Blood gushed out like a fountain as it died on the spot. After stomping the ancient barbarian elephant to death, Yi Qinfeng used the sword step and faced the demonic beasts that were attacking at extreme speed. He moved towards the depths of the wilderness. True dragon bloodline ignite. Although Yi Qinfeng was powerful, there were too many demonic beasts in the wilderness. He fought fiercely for more than 8 hours and killed his way to the depths of the wilderness. The Dao power in his body was severely exhausted. He quickly ignited his true dragon bloodline to amplify his Dao power and continued to fight. When Yi Qinfeng killed his way to the end of the wilderness, he found an endless swamp. At the end of the swamp, he saw a spatial black hole sealed with a powerful restriction. This spatial black hole seemed to be the only exit out of this wilderness. Whoosh! Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and adjusted his breathing. He used the sword step and flew into the air. He killed the flying demonic beasts that were attacking him while flying towards the spatial black hole above the swamp. Ong, ong! Suddenly, a deafening beast roar came from the blood-soaked swamp. The terrifying sound wave pierced the sky and bombarded Yi Qinfeng's body. Heaven rending, and the terrifying beast roar came. The three spirit gray Tao diagrams that were constantly evolving above Yi Qinfeng's head immediately transformed into a huge hand that covered the sky. The palm shattered the terrifying sound wave. In the next moment, the blood-red swamp violently rolled. A huge black tortoise with a dragon head, tortoise body, snake tail, and 4 limbs that were like pillars that supported the heavens appeared. It roared loudly at Yi Qinfeng and spat out terrifying demonic light, wanting to shatter Yi Qinfeng. Mid-grade, saint beast black, tortoise feeling the strength of the black tortoise in front of him, Yi Qinfeng did not hesitate to burn his god-devil bloodline. At the same time, he greatly increased his physical strength by 3 times. He swung his terrifying fists and continuously shattered the demonic light that the black tortoise spat out. Divine ability tyrannical, kick after breaking, through all the demonic light, Yi Qinfeng once again stepped out with an incomparably tyrannical force. More than 350 million kilograms of force instantly gathered and shattered the space. His foot stepped on the black tortoise's hard tortoise shell, forcibly pushing the black tortoise that had risen into the air into the blood-red pool. Ong, the black tortoise, was completely enraged by the heavy blow to its shell. It roared and rapidly spun its huge body. It was like a huge spinning top, carrying the momentum of heaven and earth as it charged towards Yi Qinfeng. Dragon subduing pillars, suppressing heaven, and earth black tortoise returned 68. Yi Qinfeng controlled the 3 spirit grade Tao diagrams to transform into 9 dragon subduing pillars that suppressed the space around him. He continuously attacked the black tortoise's huge body and weakened its spinning momentum. Following that, Yi Qinfeng raised his attack power to the limit and transformed into the ultimate form of 3 heads and 6 arms. He waved his 6 terrifying arms and erupted with over 700 million gene of strength. He directly shook the black tortoise that was circling at an extremely fast speed and fought fiercely with it in midair. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1442. Boom, boom, boom. Yi Qinfeng's 6 arms unleashed the power of the great Tao as he fought fiercely with the ferocious black tortoise. The terrifying sounds of battle were like a huge bell that rang out between heaven and earth. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement, test holy fire, triple transformation. The black tortoise's strength was too terrifying. Yi Qinfeng used the 3 spirit-level Tao diagrams to the extreme and unleashed a force of more than 700 million kilograms, but he was still unable to kill it. He had no choice but to use the holy fire triple transformation to increase his strength. Whoosh, whoosh. The sky-burning holy fire, black demonic holy fire, and 5 elemental holy fire continuously spewed out of Yi Qinfeng's body. Under the amplification of the 3 holy fires, Yi Qinfeng's strength increased steadily. 5B4, he surpassed the 2-star Tao Saint and reached the limit of the 3-star Tao Saint. Fortunately, the 3 holy fires were not sealed. With his strength increasing rapidly, Yi Qinfeng used the scorching holy fires to break through heaven and earth with his fists. He continuously shook the black tortoise and continued to fight it head-on in midair. Under the attacks of the holy fires, the black tortoise's injuries began to worsen. A clear crack appeared on the surface of its tough turtle shell as large amounts of blood seeped out. Battle form in its original form, it could not withstand Yi Qinfeng's ferocious attacks. The black tortoise immediately burned its powerful demonic powers and transformed into its most powerful battle form. It transformed into a tall and sturdy giant that was like a metal tower. It held an indestructible turtle shell and an ancient beast bone in its hand as it shattered Yi Qinfeng's terrifying fists. Blue sky seal after his attacks were broken. Yi Qinfeng immediately used the blue sky seal and formed a huge palm print that seemed to contain heaven and earth. It carried an unparalleled sense of oppression as it left a long streak of white light in midair and blasted toward the beast bone that the black tortoise was smashing toward. Heavenly Tao disc after this attack. Yi Qinfeng continued to derive his Tao intent. The 3 spirit-level Tao diagrams quickly gathered in front of him and transformed into a heavenly Tao disc that was like a black hole. It blasted toward the black tortoise's turtle shell. Boom! The two collided as a terrifying gust of wind swept out. An earth-shattering explosion could be heard clearly within a 50-kilometer radius. Furnace of desolation when the heavenly Tao plate repelled black tortoise. Yi Qinfeng leaped into the air and turned into a desolation furnace with innate Tao patterns. Like an ancient divine mountain, he plummeted down from the sky and crashed onto black tortoise. Ong, feeling the terrifying might of Yi Qinfeng's desolate furnace of heavens. The black tortoise incessantly burned its demonic power and used its extremely strong defensive tortoiseshell to defend. Kachi Yi Qinfeng's desolate furnace of heaven slammed into the tortoiseshell. The terrifying power shook the tortoiseshell, causing fine cracks to appear on the tortoiseshell. Waves of power beyond the black tortoise's imagination surged into its arms, causing its skin to split open and its body to sink down. Dragon subduing staked the desolate furnace of heaven that injured the black tortoise and continuously transformed above Yi Qinfeng's head into a sea of Tao intent transformed into 9 dragon, subduing pillars that rapidly descended. They successively smashed onto the tortoise shell that the black tortoise held high above its head, directly smashing it into the blood-soaked Wang Zhejiang from midair. Everlasting holy water, ice seal. As the black tortoise fell into the Wang Zhejiang, Yi Qinfeng immediately controlled the everlasting holy water to break out of his body and enter the raging Wang Zhejiang, instantly freezing the Wang Zhejiang. Large amounts of cold energy constantly drilled into the black tortoise's blood-stained body. Sacred thunder of purple beginnings, compression. When the furious black tortoise shattered the Wang Zhejiang that was frozen by the everlasting holy water and returned to midair, Yi Qinfeng compressed the sacred thunder of purple beginnings into an extremely thin lightning needle and shot it towards the black tortoise. 111 puff. The lightning needle pierced through the cracks of the tortoise shell and into the black tortoise's strong right arm before exploding. The terrifying destructive power blasted the black tortoise's arm into a bloody mess and blood splattered everywhere. Bronze sword spirit, kill it for me. As the black tortoise howled in pain, the bronze sword spirit broke out of Yi Qinfeng's sea of soul and fused with the 3 spirit-level Tao diagrams. It released a terrifying Tao might that was like a cold star that struck the black tortoise. Under this sword, even the blazing sun was dimmed. The pitiful sword power once again hacked the black tortoise down from the sky. It fiercely smashed into the ice frozen by the everlasting holy water, creating a huge crater in the huge ice. True Qilin sealed doomsday, calamity absolute, sword black dragon Yi Qinfeng did not give the black tortoise a chance to catch its breath. He constantly urged the 3 spirit-level Tao diagrams to evolve a terrifying killing move that continuously attacked the black tortoise's huge body. Under his all-out attack, the sun, moon, and stars changed color, and the myriad of yin and yang trembled. Vertigo technique as the black tortoise was bombarded by layers upon layers of terrifying attacks. The soul force in Yi Qinfeng's mind erupted, forming a terrifying vertigo. It was like a heavy hammer that smashed into the black tortoise's sea of soul, causing it to feel as if its head was being pierced by needles. Bronze sword soul, absolute sword annihilation. When the black tortoise's reaction slowed down, Yi Qinfeng fused the 3 spirit-level Tao diagrams into the bronze sword spirit, activating the strongest power of the bronze sword spirit. It evolved into a chilling killing intent that pierced through the sky, mercilessly stabbing into the black tortoise's head. Pum! The black tortoise's head was pierced through by the bronze sword soul and heavily fell onto the ice. In the next moment, the black tortoise's huge body became illusory and gradually disappeared. At this time, the seal that sealed the black hole disappeared. Yi Qinfeng adjusted his breathing briefly, then flew into the black hole using the sword steps. He arrived at a majestic shrine that was several dozen meters tall and supported by 108 stone pillars with coiling dragons. In front of this temple sat a man that was both real and illusory. He was shrouded in a black light, making it impossible to see his appearance clearly. Sensing Yi Qinfeng's appearance, this man, who had been meditating for an unknown number of years, suddenly opened his eyes. His two eyes were like endless stars, piercing into Yi Qinfeng's eyes. "Defeat me, and you will be able to enter the temple." This man, shrouded in black light, suddenly spoke and stood up. When the black light gradually dissipated, Yi Qinfeng saw this man's appearance clearly. His eyes couldn't help but contract as he revealed a look of disbelief. This was because he realized that this man's appearance was exactly the same as his. It was impossible to tell which was real and which was fake with the naked eye. Could it be that he had to defeat himself in the second trial? Yi Qinfeng had challenged himself once and knew the difficulty of challenging himself. Furthermore, he couldn't rely on external forces this time and could only rely on his own abilities. It was even more difficult. Swish! There was an ear-piercing sound as the black-robed man flew over with sword steps. He launched a thunderous attack at Yi Qinfeng. Terrifying sword Dao patterns continuously attacked Yi Qinfeng's body. As expected, the second trial was to challenge himself. When he saw that the black-robed man actually grasped the sword steps, it confirmed Yi Qinfeng's guess. He quickly deduced the heaven and earth great Dao and shattered the incoming sword Dao patterns as he engaged in an intense battle. One-line sword cleave when Yi Qinfeng broke the black-robed man's sword steps attack. His entire body turned into an invincible sword. There was an ear-piercing sword light as he turned into a sword light and thrust forward. Sacred fire triple transformation when Yi Qinfeng's sword pierced the black-robed man's chest. 3 sacred fires gushed out from his body. While increasing his strength, they turned into a flaming sword and forced Yi Qinfeng to retreat. PFFF. Caught off guard, a large amount of sacred fire power blended into Yi Qinfeng's body and damaged his meridians. A trace of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. Yi Qinfeng was injured. Mobile reading home, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Collect button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1443. Sacred Fire Triple Transformation with his body injured. Yi Qinfeng did not hesitate to ignite the 3 sacred fires to suppress his injuries. He increased his strength to the limit of a 3-star Dao Saint and continued to battle with the black-robed man. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement, test vertigo, art during the intense battle. Yi Qinfeng suddenly controlled the god-engulfing brain to quickly deduce, forming a terrifying vertigo power that blasted into the black-robed man's soul sea. However, it was like a clay ox entering the sea. It did not affect or harm the black-robed man at all. How could this be? The black-robed man was actually immune to soul spirit attacks. After the vertigo art failed, Yi Qinfeng immediately used his sword steps to dodge with all his might. However, he had lost the initiative and was still unable to dodge. 5B, for he completely dodged the black-robed man's attack. However, he was struck by the numerous sharp sword shadows that the black-robed man sent flying. It was over. The black-robed man leaped high into the air. Layers of sword Dao patterns surged out of his body. He activated hundreds of sword Dao patterns and transformed them into an invincible divine sword that slashed open the space. It was like a crack that connected heaven and earth as it slashed towards Yi Qinfeng, who was smashed into the ground. Spatial laws, spatial folds. At the critical moment, Yi Qinfeng used the spatial laws to control the spatial folds in front of him. He used the layers to block the black-robed man's shocking sword. 3 bloodlines ignite. Using the time when the spatial folds were blocking, Yi Qinfeng flew out of the pit and ignited his 3 bloodlines, increasing his strength to the limit. True dragon transformation. Following that, he used the dragon race's side branch mystical ability. His entire body turned into a terrifying true dragon. He twisted his huge body and carried a powerful dragon's aura as he attacked the black-robed man. Groan! Groan! The moment Yi Qinfeng used the true dragon transformation to attack, the black-robed man also used the true dragon transformation. He transformed into a terrifying true dragon and met the attack head-on. He engaged in an intense battle with Yi Qinfeng in midair. The 2 true dragons' auras surged endlessly as they fought intensely. The power that erupted from their intense battle could destroy heaven and earth. They kept attacking the restrictions of the temple. However, the restrictions of this ancient temple were too terrifying. They had to withstand the waves of destructive power. 5b for the Divine Palace's restrictions did not budge at all. It was not affected at all. The 2 true dragons fought fiercely for half an incense stick worth of time, then separated from each other with wounds all over their bodies. Neither of them could do anything to the other. Space trajectory reverting to his original form, Yi Qinfeng once again used the law of space, escaping into a mysterious trajectory, controlling the bronze sword spirit to attack the black-clothed man. Caught off guard, the black-robed man was struck by the bronze sword soul's 10-foot-long sword and was sent flying. As expected, although this black-robed man could replicate my attack, the sword soul and the spatial laws were too profound for him to replicate. After a series of fierce battles, Yi Qinfeng confirmed that the black-clothed man was unable to replicate the space principle and sword soul that he had comprehended, and he let out a long sigh of relief. Swoosh Yi Qinfeng derived the great Tao and used his body to control the sword. With a slash, the profound sword Tao pattern turned into the cosmos sword array. It sealed the space around the black-robed man and attacked his body from all angles. After being attacked by Yi Qinfeng's cosmos sword array, the black-robed man, who had a sword scar on his chest, did not panic. He quickly turned his body and also derived the cosmos sword array. It turned into a sword tornado that engulfed heaven and earth, neutralizing Yi Qinfeng's attack. Bronze sword soul, fuse! When Yi Qinfeng and the black-robed man controlled the cosmos sword array to fight fiercely, Yi Qinfeng controlled the bronze sword soul to fuse into the cosmos sword array. It further increased the power of the cosmos sword array and instantly suppressed the black-robed man's attack. 111 When the black-robed man wanted to quickly change and forcibly break the cosmos sword array that was suppressing him, Yi Qinfeng once again escaped into the space trajectory and instantly appeared in front of the black-robed man. Break! Yi Qinfeng let out a roar. A terrifying power gushed out of his body like a surging tide. Strands of will of the way lingered around him endlessly. He punched out with both fists. More than 700 million pounds of power erupted. The terrifying power was like a giant star that ruthlessly bombarded the black-robed man's body. It directly broke through the black-robed man's defenses and sent him flying with a single punch. Spatial folds. Break! When the black-robed man landed heavily on the ground, Yi Qinfeng leaped high into the air. He constantly controlled spatial folds to appear and repeatedly bombarded the black-robed man's body, aggravating his injuries. Under Yi Qinfeng's continuous control of spatial folds, the black-robed man's injuries continued to worsen. Cracks began to appear on the surface of his body. Doomsday Calamity Qinfeng did not give the black-robed man a chance to catch his breath. While the black-robed man was using all his strength to defend against the spatial folds, Yi Qinfeng rapidly deduced the 3 spirit-level Tao diagrams. He condensed 3 doomsdays, and with the destructive power of a natural disaster, they bombarded the black-robed man. Boom, 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 the 3 doomsdays exploded. The terrifying power of doomsdays penetrated the black-robed man's body through the cracks, constantly drilling into his body, wanting to pulverize him. With my body evolved the great Tao of heaven, and earth as his injuries continued to worsen. The black-robed man used his final technique. With his body as a medium, he evolved the terrifying great Tao of heaven and earth, driving the momentum of the world. With the most tyrannical momentum, he shattered the overlapping space and swept towards Yi Qin Feng. Desolate furnace of heaven as the black-robed man evolved the great Tao of heaven and earth to attack. Yi Qin Feng immediately transformed into the desolate furnace of heaven. Boundless Tao will swirled around him as he slammed into the terrifying great Tao. Rumble, rumble, rumble when Yi Qin Feng transformed into the desolate furnace of heaven and earth. He caused the entire world to tremble. Bronze Sword Soul. Evolved sword diagram when the two terrifying attacks clashed fiercely. Yi Qin Feng controlled the bronze sword soul to evolve into a powerful sword diagram. It crazily cut through the great Tao of heaven and earth that the black-robed man had evolved, giving him the most fundamental and fatal attack. Finally, under Yi Qin Feng's frenzied attacks, the great Tao of heaven and earth that the black-robed man had evolved was broken. Covered in wounds and sword marks, he fell from the sky and landed heavily on the ground. You're not bad, but I still have one last move. If you can take it, you'll pass. The black-robed man, who was seriously injured and could be broken at any time, got up from the ground and looked calmly at Yi Qin Feng. After he finished speaking, he suddenly burned his entire body. Endless sword will gushed out of his body. In an instant, he evolved the invincible sword principle and launched the final attack on Yi Qin Feng. Black dragon of extinction, sword Yi Qin Feng's pupils shrank. He poured all his strength and Tao will into the bronze sword soul. The rolling Tao will was as boundless as the sea, endless. He urged the bronze sword soul to transform into a black dragon of extinction sword. It swallowed the world and crashed into the invincible sword principle that the black-robed man had evolved. Boom! The two attacks collided and directly collapsed the space within a radius of a few miles. The whole world was dark and chaotic, as if the end of the world had arrived. Puff! Yi Qin Feng, who had lost control of his body, spat out several mouthfuls of blood and flew out. He fell more than 1,000 meters away and crashed heavily on the ground. The black-robed man suffered the attack of the black dragon that the bronze sword soul had evolved into. His entire body exploded and dissipated between heaven and earth with a terrible destructive power. Mobile reading site. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You can see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1444. Hoo-hoo, I finally succeeded. Seeing the black-clothed man disappear, the severely injured Yi Qin Feng let out a long sigh of relief. He quickly sat down cross-legged and adjusted his breathing to recover. At this time, the restrictions that shrouded the ancient temple disappeared. A boundless and ancient aura surged out from the temple. The spiritual qi in the ancient city was abundant, and its level was extremely high. Yi Qin Feng took about half a day to recover his depleted soul power and heal his heavy injuries. Then he stepped on the stone steps that had experienced many vicissitudes of life and walked towards the ancient and mysterious divine palace. He forcefully pushed open the door. 5B4, 2 dragon heads were embedded on the huge copper door of the temple. A terrifying restrictive power emanated from the temple and instantly affected Yi Qin Feng's strength, forcefully lowering his cultivation level by 1 level. What a terrifying restriction! Just what is in this temple? Could it be that the celestial race's supreme expert is suppressing this temple? Yi Qin Feng adjusted his inner qi and carefully walked into the pitch-black, lightless deity palace filled with terrifying restrictions. Wang Wen, Yi Qin Feng felt that his cultivation level was being suppressed and dropped to the level of a reverse beast king. A moonstone embedded in the wall of the divine palace lit up, illuminating the entire divine palace. At the center of the divine hall where numerous stone pillars with coiled dragons stood, an old man sat cross-legged. He wore an ancient dragon robe, a crown on his head, and dragon boots on his feet. His face was gloomy, and his eyes were tightly shut. Above this old man's head was a drop of blood, a drop of dark golden blood. The terrifying restrictive power that permeated the temple was released by this drop of blood. This drop of blood, seeing this drop of dark golden blood releasing a suppressive force, Yi Qinfeng's eyes lit up. He recognized that this drop of blood was the same as the one that had parasitized the Chaos Divine Wood. It came from the same person. Could it be that this drop of blood was left behind by my father? Yi Qinfeng controlled the god Eater Brain to sense it several times. He felt a familiar aura from this drop of dark golden blood. A trace of anticipation appeared in his heart as he slowly walked over. Whoosh, whoosh, when Yi Qinfeng approached the dragon-robed elder who was sitting cross-legged, his status unknown. He suddenly opened his tightly shut eyes. 2 rays of light shot out from his eyes like lightning, stabbing towards Yi Qinfeng like knives. In the next moment, a power that exceeded Yi Qinfeng's imagination erupted from the dragon-robed old man's body. This power was so strong that Yi Qinfeng felt a deep sense of powerlessness. His expression changed slightly as he retreated without hesitation. "Junior, how did you get in here?" The dragon-robed old man suddenly woke up and spoke. His terrifying voice caused Yi Qinfeng's eardrums to hurt. It was by chance that this junior entered this place. Yi Qinfeng could vaguely guess the identity of the old man when he sensed the heavenly energy emanating from his body and casually made up a story. Really? Although the dragon-robed old man didn't believe Yi Qinfeng's explanation, he didn't expose it. He said in a low voice, "Junior, are you willing to help me leave this damned place? If you are willing, I can give you unimaginable benefits and take you as my disciple." Not knowing if Senior is Yi Qinfeng, he asked deliberately, "I am the first godly emperor of the 9 Heavens God Kingdom, Juqian. You can also call me 9 Heavens Supreme." The dragon-robed old man said arrogantly, "The first godly emperor of the 9 Heavens God Kingdom," Yi Qinfeng said in surprise. "Since Senior is a heavenly supreme and the first godly emperor of the 9 Heavens God Kingdom, why are you suppressed here?" "When you help me get out, I will naturally tell you the reason." Di Jiutian said, "Sorry, Senior. Junior is too weak to help Senior. Senior should wait for other fated people." Yi Qinfeng thought for a moment and tactfully refused. "Wait, don't be in such a hurry to leave." The dragon-robed old man saw Yi Qinfeng was about to turn around and leave. He immediately became anxious and shouted, "Are you afraid that if you let me out, I will harm you?" "That's right. This junior is indeed worried about this." Yi Qinfeng nodded and said frankly, "How about this? I swear by the Tao of Heaven, as long as you can help me get out of here, I will not harm you. Instead, I will give you endless benefits." After being suppressed in the godly palace for countless years, Di Jiutian didn't have much lifespan left. It could be said that Yi Qinfeng was his only hope to get out of here. He had to grab hold of him, or else he would never see the light of day again. "If I can help Senior leave here, what benefits will Senior give me?" Yi Qinfeng thought for a moment and asked, "I can let you inherit my legacy and learn everything I have learned." Di Jiutian threw out a huge temptation. "I don't need it." Yi Qinfeng shook his head and refused directly. "Then what do you want?" Di Jiutian was surprised. A heavenly master was an expert in the heaven region, let alone in the Duhan continent. It could be said that the inheritance of a heavenly master was enough to make anyone jealous. However, Di Jiutian realized that Yi Qinfeng wasn't interested at all. "I heard that a heavenly master's essence blood can improve one's physique. 2238A, third of the heavenly master's essence blood." Yi Qinfeng thought for a moment and said, "Junior, This old man has been suppressed here for countless years and has long since reached the end of my life. If I give you a third of my Empyrean blood essence, I fear I will immediately die. So, forgive me for not being able to agree to your request." Zhou Qian frowned slightly and said in a low voice, "Okay, then I will take a step back and ask for a fifth of your heavenly master's essence blood." Yi Qinfeng hesitated and said, "If Senior refuses again, then I will have to give up." "Okay, I will agree to your request." Although Zhou Qian was annoyed, he knew that he had no other choice. As long as he could get out, he would have complete control over Yi Qinfeng's life and death. He would also be able to get back a fifth of the Heavenly Master's essence blood. Yi Qinfeng looked at the gloomy Zhou Qian and said loudly, "Senior, swear to the heavens." "Okay." Zhou Qian took a deep breath and suppressed the anger in his heart. He swore a Heavenly Master's oath in front of everyone. "Senior, how can I help you get out?" Yi Qinfeng asked after Zhou Qian swore. "Do you see the drop of blood floating above my head? As long as you find a way to weaken the blood suppression on me, I will be able to get out." Zhou Qian pointed at the dark golden blood that was suppressing him. "Will it be dangerous for me to attack that drop of blood?" Yi Qinfeng looked at the dark golden blood and said worriedly, "Don't worry, you can try to attack it. If there is no danger, you can find a way to weaken the blood suppression on me." In order to dispel Yi Qinfeng's worries, Zhou Qian said patiently. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and took sword steps. He withstood the overwhelming spatial pressure and approached the drop of dark golden blood that was suppressing Zhou Qian. At the same time, he was also very excited. It could be said that Yi Qinfeng had deliberately negotiated with Zhou Qian. His real goal was not the fifth of Zhou Qian's essence blood, but to get close to the drop of dark golden blood. If this drop of blood was really related to his background, Yi Qinfeng felt that he had a chance of subduing this drop of essence blood. As for the threat of Zhou Qian escaping, he did not take it to heart. He believed that if all of this was left behind by his father would definitely have a backup plan. Moreover, he had a feeling that Zhou Qian had been suppressing this place for a long time. Phew, I hope my guess is right. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and extended his right index finger to touch the drop of dark golden blood that was releasing a terrifying suppressive force. Mobile reading website. Book address. In order to make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1445. Qi. Yi Qinfeng stretched out his finger. The restriction around the dark golden blood droplet was like a paper window. It kept shattering. His finger easily touched the dark golden blood droplet. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement, testin. The next moment, the drop of blood shone brightly and connected with his body. A terrifying bloodline power was awakened. What is going on? Who is this kid? Zhou Qian, who had been suppressed by the drop of blood for countless years, felt uneasy when he saw Yi Qinfeng touch the drop of blood so easily and even resonated with it. "Senior, force out 1/5 of your essence blood, and I will help you get out of here." Yi Qinfeng, whose fingers were constantly intertwining with the dark golden blood, had already figured out a way to open the suppressing restriction. He shouted at Zhou Qian, whose expression had changed drastically. "Who are you, kid? What is your relationship with the owner of this drop of blood?" Zhou Qian asked coldly. "This junior is just a nameless pawn who accidentally stumbled into this place." Yi Qinfeng continued to lie. "Is that so? Then why can you resonate with this drop of blood?" Zhou Qian didn't believe Yi Qinfeng's explanation at all and whispered, "I don't know either." Yi Qinfeng shook his head and said, "Senior, my power is limited. If you don't give me 1/5 of your essence blood, I am afraid I can't save you from this restriction. Okay, I will give you my essence blood now. Although Di Jiutian sensed something unusual, he knew that this was his only chance to get out of here. He had to try no matter what. He forced out 1/5 of his essence blood and turned it into drops of pure blood that floated around his body. Restriction crack. At this moment, Yi Qinfeng communicated with this drop of essence blood and forced a small crack in the restriction. He said, "Senior, give me your essence blood." "Kid, I hope you can get my essence blood and help me get out of here. Otherwise, I will not let you go even if I become a ghost." Di Jiutian warned and controlled 1/5 of his essence blood to appear outside through the crack in the restriction. When 1/5 of Di Jiutian's essence blood escaped, a sinister expression appeared on his pale face. With a thought, he did not wait for Yi Qinfeng to refine his essence blood. He controlled the droplets of blood to quickly condense, turning them into a terrifyingly strong blood person with no facial features. Senior, Yi Qinfeng didn't expect Di Jiutian to have such an ability to control blood and transform. His expression changed as he shouted, "Kid, when I capture you, you will tell me the truth." Di Jiutian was sure that Yi Qinfeng's arrival wasn't a coincidence. He immediately ordered the blood man to attack Yi Qinfeng. Boom! Boundless blood qi filled the blood man's body, turning into a huge hand that spat out blood light. With unparalleled pressure, it slammed towards Yi Qinfeng, whose strength had been suppressed to the level of a reverse beast king. He was sent flying without any resistance. Be a good boy and surrender. After severely injuring Yi Qinfeng with one palm strike, the bloody man stepped on the blood cloud and charged towards Yi Qinfeng. He wanted to injure Yi Qinfeng severely in one go and grasp his secrets. He wanted to break the bloodline suppression and leave this place. Di Jiutian, don't you dare hurt the little master. Suddenly there was a roar. The array spirit guarding outside suddenly appeared. It opened its huge mouth and spat out endless array light, shattering the blood man's killer move. Little master, hearing how the array spirit addressed Yi Qinfeng, Di Jiutian's killing intent intensified. He continued to order the blood man to attack Yi Qinfeng. Senior, quickly remove the restriction on me. Yi Qinfeng, who was covered in cracks and severely injured, shouted at the array spirit. Okay, the array spirit reversed the array and removed the restriction on Yi Qinfeng. After recovering all his strength, Yi Qinfeng quickly drank an entire bottle of Tianji water. After stabilizing his injuries, he summoned the demon Thearka's furnace and 230 Qinkuan swords and attacked the blood man. Although the blood man was formed by Di Jiutian's blood essence, he was restrained by the restrictions of the shrine. His strength was greatly affected. In addition, he couldn't use Di Jiutian's mystiques. His true combat strength wasn't much higher than Yi Qinfeng's. Senior, leave him to me. You just need to control the shrine's restrictions to suppress him. After a quick exchange, Yi Qinfeng was basically sure that the blood man's strength was equivalent to a 5-star Dao Saint. He shouted at the array spirit, "All right, I'll leave him to you." The array spirit also wanted to test Yi Qinfeng's strength and potential. He quickly retreated to the side and continued to control the shrine's restrictions to suppress the blood man. He forcefully suppressed his strength to the limit of a 4-star Dao Saint. Sacred Fire Triple Transformation. Heaven Suppressing Pearl. Sacred Blood Pearl. As the blood man's strength decreased further, Yi Qinfeng was completely relieved. He quickly used his trump cards and burned 3 bloodlines. 5B4, he forcefully raised his strength to the level of a 4-star Dao Saint. Demon Emperor's Furnace, suppress. With the increase in strength, Yi Qinfeng immediately awakened the purple-eyed black rhino soul and raised the power of the Demon Emperor's Furnace to suppress the blood man. Boom! Boom! The furnace of the Demon Emperor, which was wreathed in flames, collided with the bloody man's hands. Suddenly there was a dense explosion. Endless blood light formed in the bloody man's body, turning into pillars that reached the sky, propping up the furnace of the demon emperor and neutralizing the attack of the furnace of the demon emperor. Cosmos sword formation, transforming sword sea. While the blood man was resisting the demon emperor's furnace with all his strength, Yi Qin Feng controlled the extremely sharp Cosmos sword to attack the blood man. It was like a rolling sea of blood, densely attacking the blood man's body. As the Cosmos sword formation attacked, the blood man's body once again surged with a vast power of blood. It turned into a blood vortex and resisted the attack of the Cosmos sword formation. Heaven venerables were indeed heaven venerables. Their means were indeed terrifying. When Yi Qin Feng saw the bloody man neutralize his killing moves one after another, he summoned the 9 dragon jade annulus with a thought. 3 spirit-level Tao diagrams. Transforming Tao will see. Yi Qin Feng controlled the 3 spirit-level Tao diagrams suspended above his head to transform into a sea of Tao will. He continuously injected pure Tao power into the 9 dragon jade annulus to increase the attack power of the 9 dragon jade annulus. Roar! Roar! A series of dragon roars resounded through the sky. After fusing with enough Tao power, the 6 deadly dragons disappeared into the 9 dragon jade annulus. 184 The 9 dragon jade annulus evolved the mysterious power of heaven and earth and bombarded the blood vortex formed by the blood man. Under the attack of the 6 deadly dragons, the blood vortex was blasted apart. The remaining power of the 9 dragon jade annulus, as well as the Cosmos sword formation, bombarded the blood man's body one after another and blasted it apart. Chaos divine would devour. When the blood man was severely injured, Yi Qin Feng summoned his natal treasure, the Chaos Divine Wood. He controlled the Chaos Divine Wood to fly towards the blood man's body, which was full of cracks and aggravated the blood man's injuries. In the next moment, the Chaos Divine Wood swayed with the Chaos 5 elements light while condensing 5 colored roots. They took root in the blood man's body and crazily devoured the blood essence in his body. No, what is this? Di Jutian let out an angry roar when he felt the blood essence in the blood man's body being drained continuously. However, under the suppression of the bloodline restriction, he couldn't stop the Chaos Divine Wood from devouring the blood man's blood essence. He could only control the blood man to attack desperately. However, the Chaos Divine Wood was too tough. The blood man's continuous killer moves couldn't hurt it, let alone break free from its devouring. Slowly, the blood essence in the blood man's body became thinner and thinner, and his resistance became weaker. In the end, 1/5 of Di Jiotian's blood essence was devoured by the Chaos Divine Wood. Di Jiotian was severely injured as a result, and he became extremely old. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1446. Chaos Divine Wood. Watermark advertisement test seeing the Chaos Divine Wood devouring Di Jiotian's essence blood. The Array spirit couldn't help but get excited. It quickly came to Yi Qin Feng's side and said, respectfully, Array spirit greets, young master. Please forgive me for offending you. Senior, did my father really leave this drop of blood for me? Yi Qin Feng asked as he recalled the primal Chaos Divine Wood to his body when he saw the formation spirit's humble tone. Yes, this drop of essence blood was left for young master by his master. The Array spirit nodded and said, Young master, you only need to devour it and merge it into your heart meridian. Then you can refine this drop of primordial blood. Yi Qin Feng's heart skipped a beat. He continued to ask, Senior, if I refine this drop of primordial blood, then he will be free. Don't worry, young master. With master's supernatural power, he has already left a secret plan. A mere heavenly master is nothing to be afraid of. The array spirit said confidently. That's good. Yi Qinfeng glanced at the angry Di Jiutian. He appeared in the air next to the drop of primordial blood. He opened his mouth and swallowed the drop of primordial blood. Crack! The moment Yi Qinfeng swallowed the drop of primordial blood, cracks appeared on the restriction that suppressed Di Jiutian. Di Jiutian, who had been suppressed by this drop of primordial blood for countless years, finally broke free. Kid, I'll kill you. After breaking free, the furious Di Jiutian threw a punch at Yi Qinfeng, trying to kill him. Don't be afraid. He can't hurt you. Just as Yi Qinfeng instinctively wanted to dodge, the array spirit's voice rang in Yi Qinfeng's ears. Boom! The space in front of Yi Qinfeng shattered. The terrifying fist aura shattered everything and ruthlessly bombarded Yi Qinfeng's body, who did not dodge at all. This punch was so powerful that even an upper-grade holy treasure couldn't block it. However, when it hit Yi Qinfeng's chest, it didn't hurt Yi Qinfeng at all. The power that broke his body also disappeared mysteriously. That drop of blood helped me neutralize Di Jiutian's attack. Feeling the power of Di Jiutian's punch being easily neutralized by the primordial blood in his body, Yi Qinfeng was completely relieved. Little Master, with the protection of the primordial blood that Master left behind, not to mention a mere heavenly venerable, even a heavenly emperor wouldn't be able to harm you. The array spirit said, Then wouldn't I be able to borrow this drop of blood to torture him? Yi Qinfeng's eyes lit up as he looked at Di Jiutian, who was brimming with killing intent. Of course, Zhenling said, maybe the battle can also speed up the speed of you refining the Hongmeng blood. Okay, I'll give it a try. With that, Yi Qinfeng stepped on his sword and flew towards Di Jiutian, whose expression changed slightly. Heavenly Dao, plate Yi Qinfeng, closed in. Di Jiutian's hands moved rapidly as two extremely powerful Heavenly Dao discs appeared out of thin air. They twisted the void and blasted towards Yi Qinfeng. Boom! Facing the attack of Di Jiutian's Heavenly Dao discs, Yi Qinfeng didn't dodge. He let the two Heavenly Dao discs hit his body. What? Seeing that his Heavenly Dao discs couldn't hurt Yi Qinfeng at all, Di Jiutian was so shocked that his eyes widened. Pa! While he was still in shock, Yi Qinfeng suddenly used the space track. His right hand went into the track and slapped Di Jiutian's cheek, leaving a big red handprint. Kid, I will destroy you. As the first divine emperor of Jiutian divine nation and a heavenly venerable, Di Jiutian had never been humiliated like this. Feeling the burning pain on his cheek, he was completely enraged. He forcibly mobilized the terrifying power of the heavens and turned it into divine weapons to attack Yi Qinfeng's body. Old man, let's talk about it after you break my defense. Yi Qinfeng ignored the divine weapons that Di Jiutian used to mobilize the power of the heavens and transformed into the ultimate form of 3 heads and 6 arms. He continuously attacked Di Jiutian fiercely. Pung 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 after a round of ferocious attacks, Di Jiutian's face was slapped 6 times by Yi Qinfeng. His stomach was kicked 13 times by Yi Qinfeng, and there were several footprints on his butt. Although these attacks were like mosquito bites to Di Jiutian and were harmless, they were very damaging to his mental state. He couldn't accept being repeatedly slapped and spanked by a human junior. The mental humiliation was even worse than killing him. Di Tian 9, Swords Di Jiutian, whose eyes were bloodshot, roared in anger. Several terrifying spirit-grade Dao diagrams appeared on his body, turning into 9 divine swords that slashed towards Yi Qinfeng. He wanted to shatter him to vent the hatred in his heart. Chi, 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 the Di Tian 9 swords were like the Milky Way flowing backwards. The instant they slashed onto Yi Qinfeng's body, a thick layer of blood light appeared on Yi Qinfeng's body, blocking the attacks of the Di Tian 9 swords. Following this, Yi Qinfeng used the space track again. 5B for then. He threw out a powerful punch towards Di Jiutian's nose. Just as Di Jiutian instinctively dodged, a powerful restriction force ruthlessly suppressed his body, causing his movements to become slightly sluggish. Crack! Yi Qinfeng's fist, which was filled with hundreds of millions of kilograms of force, landed on Di Jiutian's nose, causing it to bleed. Di Jiutian's nose was bleeding, causing him to go berserk. He crazily attacked Yi Qinfeng, determined to kill him. However, the primordial blood was too heaven-defying. With its support, Yi Qinfeng's defense was almost invincible. He ignored Di Jiutian's attacks and burned his god-devil blood to increase his strength by 3 times. He continued to attack Di Jiutian's face. Although Di Jiutian's defense was shocking, Yi Qinfeng's strength was too terrifying. Coupled with the weakening of the restriction force, Di Jiutian's face was constantly injured by Yi Qinfeng's attacks. His eyes were red and swollen. "Brat, just you wait. Sooner or later, I will turn you into ashes." Di Jiutian used all his strength, but couldn't hurt Yi Qinfeng at all. Instead, he was beaten black and blue by Yi Qinfeng. This made Di Jiutian want to retreat. He wanted to leave after saying those words. "Di Jiutian, do you think you have a chance to leave this place?" The array spirit appeared above the temple and kept increasing the restrictions. It suppressed Di Jiutian, not giving him a chance to escape. "Di Jiutian, eat my sword." 2238, when Di Jiutian used all the power of heaven in his body to attack the terrifying restrictions, the high-grade saint artifact, Black Dawn's sacred sword, appeared in Yi Qinfeng's hand. He stabbed it towards Di Jiutian's, but with one stab, 3 spirit-level Tao diagrams, the bronze sword soul, and more than 700 million kilograms of force fused into the Black Dawn's sacred sword, increasing its attack power. The sword pierced through Di Jiutian's weakened defense and stabbed into the gap between his butt. A heart-wrenching pain instantly spread throughout Di Jiutian's body. The immense pain made him scream uncontrollably. His silver hair stood on end at this moment. "Brat, I will fight it out with you." Di Jiutian didn't expect Yi Qinfeng to be so ruthless. He actually pierced his butt and used such a method to humiliate him. He completely lost his mind and burned all the bloodline power in his body. He crazily attacked Yi Qinfeng like a tidal wave. He looked like he wanted to die together with Yi Qinfeng. But at this moment, Yi Qinfeng fused with the Hongmeng blood. A proud and tall figure that seemed to stand between heaven and earth appeared in Yi Qinfeng's body. When Di Jiutian, who had lost his mind, saw this figure, he was like a mouse that saw a cat. All the hair on his body stood on end, and he couldn't help but retreat. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click the Save button below to record this reading. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1447. My child, we finally meet. This lonely and tall figure became clearer and clearer, turning into a middle-aged man who looked somewhat similar to Yi Qinfeng. He looked at Yi Qinfeng gently and said slowly, "Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement test. You are my father?" Looking at the middle-aged man's face that was similar to his own, Yi Qinfeng said with slight excitement, "Well, I am your father. My name is Yi Wuji." Yi Wuji's soul phantom looked at the excited Yi Qinfeng and nodded. "Do you have a lot to ask me now?" "Yes. I want to know why you abandoned me outside the purple gold imperial city." 16D0 Yi Wuji nodded. "I know you resent me, but I really had no choice." Yi Wuji sighed softly. He glanced at Di Jiutian, who was like a frightened bird, and gently pointed at him. Although Yi Wuji's finger was very light and slow, Di Jiutian realized that he couldn't dodge it at all. He could only watch as the finger light touched his head. Then he fainted. Go back to the demon emperor furnace. I want to talk to my son alone. After knocking Di Jiuqian out, Yu Wuji looked at the demon emperor furnace and ordered the soul of the purple-eyed rhinoceros with a respectful expression. It was a god. The soul of the purple-eyed rhinoceros respectfully bowed to Yu Wuji and returned to the demon emperor furnace. Father, what difficulties do you have? Yi Qinfeng looked at Yu Wuji's soul phantom and said, What happened back then? Come, I will take you to see what happened in the void god world back then. As he spoke, Yi Qinfeng's soul phantom performed a supreme great magical power and took Yi Qinfeng's soul into a magical world that seemed to be made of billions of stars. In this world, there was a great battle between the 6 clans of humans, gods, demons, heaven, and demons, fighting for the qualification to enter the deepest part of the world of stars. This great battle had lasted for countless years. Many powerful people had fallen, and many peerless treasures had been shattered. The entire world of stars had been destroyed beyond recognition, and there was no daylight. Although he had only witnessed the void god realm's ancient battle as a spectator, Yi Qinfeng was still affected by it. Many of the soul-stirring scenes shook his mind. When the battle reached its climax, Yi Qinfeng saw Yi Wuji's figure. Beside him was an extremely beautiful, dignified, and beautiful woman. The two of them used a giant ancient bell to forcefully break through the defenses of the various races, seizing the 2 qualifications to enter the deepest part of the world of stars. The scene also came to an abrupt halt. Father, what were the 2 of you fighting over in the world of stars? Was the woman beside you my mother? Yi Qinfeng's soul returned to his body, but his heart was unable to calm down for a long time. The woman beside me is your mother, Xin Yaotian. Yi Wuji nodded and said, and what we're competing for is the qualification to enter the ancient road to Starry Sky. The ancient road to Starry Sky, the ancient road to Starry Sky. What is this place? Yi Qinfeng asked in confusion. The ancient road to Starry Sky was the most mysterious place in the void god realm. The ancient road to Starry Sky contained the only opportunity to become a god. In the long history of the void god realm, several true gods had obtained great opportunities from the ancient road to Starry Sky, breaking the shackles of the world and becoming true gods. Yi Wuji said without hiding anything, Father, what realm are you at? Thinking about how Yi Wuji and his mother, Xin Yaotian, could join forces to break through the defenses of the various races and obtain the qualification to enter the ancient road to Starry Sky, Yi Qinfeng had a strong curiosity about his strength. Back then, your mother and I were both early empty god realm experts who had surpassed the Dao ancestor realm. However, due to my special physique, I had the divine Dao body, which was rarely seen in millions of years. Your mother was the saintess of the Shen clan and had the bloodline of the ancestor god. When we joined forces, we were strong enough to fight against the mid-empty god realm experts. Moreover, we had the void god artifact, the Bell of Destiny. Father, what did you and my mother get in the ancient road to Starry Sky? Yi Qinfeng vaguely guessed the truth behind why Yi Wuji abandoned him in the Duhan continent. So he continued to ask, I obtained the blood of primordial chaos in the ancient road to Starry Sky, and your mother obtained the seedling of the chaos divine wood, the number 1 divine wood in the universe. But how difficult is it to become a god? Your mother and I narrowly escaped death in the ancient road to Starry Sky. Not only did we not break through, but we were also injured by the power of the ancient road to Starry Sky. When we left the ancient road to Starry Sky, we were immediately hunted down by various races in the void god realm. In order to save me, your mother was severely injured by the divine race's void god supreme emperor heaven, which caused you to be born prematurely. In order to save your life, your mother exchanged her life for yours. Yi Wuji slowly told his story. Mother is dead. Yi Qinfeng felt as if he was struck by a bolt from the blue. No, your mother won't die. My original body is in the minor 6 paths, trying to revive her with the power of the 6 paths of reincarnation. When you come to the Void God realm one day, I should be able to completely control the minor 6 paths and revive your mother." Yi Wuji's voice was filled with strong conviction. "Father, I don't know why you chose to leave me in the Duhan continent." After listening to Yi Wuji's story, Yi Qinfeng's heart was no longer filled with hatred, only doubt. "There are 3 reasons why I left you here," Yi Wuji said. "The first reason is the spirit race's inheritance. In the battle back then, although your mother and I entered the ancient road to Starry Sky, we implicated the divine race, the human race, and the divine race's branch, the spirit race. This caused the divine race and the human race to suffer heavy losses, and the heaven realm's spirit race was even destroyed by the divine race. Fortunately, the spirit race had already left behind their inheritance in every corner of the universe, and a few of them were in the Duhan continent." "That's not right, Father. As far as I know, the true spirit's secret realm's inheritance has been around for many years. Could it be that I have been asleep for a long time?" As he spoke, Yi Qinfeng thought of the problem. Supreme Emperor Heaven is the leader of the divine race, and he is also known as the number 1 person in the divine race. His attacks are unimaginable. Although your mother exchanged her life for yours and gave you a chance to live, your injuries were also very serious. I spent a lot of effort and sealed you for tens of thousands of years before completely eradicating your hidden injuries and allowing you to be reborn. The second reason why I left you here is because there are many secrets hidden in this world that will be helpful to your growth. The third reason is that there is a human almighty hidden in this world, almighty who can intimidate the various races in the divine race." Yi Wuji continued, "Father, is that almighty you're talking about the owner of the God-Eater brain, Tai Yi?" He thought of Tai Su, whom he met in the Life Forbidden Zone. 16D0 Shadow, Yi Qinfeng asked. "That's right, it's him." Yi Wuji nodded and said, "Tai Yi is one of the last surviving virtual gods of the human race. He was severely injured in the battle on the ancient Road of Stars and has been hiding in the divine race to heal his injuries. With him guarding the divine race's Tao gods, Tao ancestors, and virtual gods can't reach here to harm you. As for the third reason, it's because this world is not strong enough and can provide a good stage for you to train. If you can't even conquer this world and meet my requirements, you will never be able to get the purest drop of primordial blood I left behind, and I won't let you fly to the dangerous divine realm." Yi Wuji said, "Judging from your current strength and foundation, you are more outstanding than I thought. Okay, I've said everything I need to say. Now, I will help you change your blood and help you complete the final transformation." With that, Yi Wuji's shadow performed a great skill and started to change the primordial blood for Yi Qinfeng. Father and son meet again. I will post a picture of Yi Wuji this weekend. If you want to see it, please add me on WeChat, YLTY83 mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1448. Chengfeng. During the blood exchange process, the Hongmeng blood will devour all the blood vessels in your body. It will be very painful, so bear with it. Yi Wuji reminded him. He completely activated the Hongmeng blood that Yi Qinfeng had refined into his heart meridian and started the blood exchange process. When the Hongmeng blood erupted, it was immediately devoured by the 4 blood vessels in Yi Qinfeng's body, preventing the Hongmeng blood from devouring them. However, the Hongmeng blood came from the most mysterious place in the Void God realm, the ruins of God. It was the most powerful blood vessel in the universe. It was not something the 4 blood vessels could resist. At this moment, Yi Qinfeng's body became the battlefield of the 5 blood vessels. Immense pain spread throughout his body, damaging his meridians. It was so painful that his body instinctively twitched. However, Yi Qinfeng's heart was firm and he had an unyielding heart. He clenched his teeth and endured bitterly. He endured bitterly and didn't cry out. After about half a day, the Hongmeng blood gradually gained the upper hand. It slowly devoured the 4 blood vessels, and the pain in Yi Qinfeng's body also gradually decreased. Looking at Yi Qinfeng, who had extraordinary endurance, Yi Wuji's shadow revealed a gratified expression. Regardless of how talented Yi Qinfeng was, with his unyielding heart and great perseverance, he already had the potential to reach the peak of martial arts. Chengfeng, summon your bronze sword spirit. I will help you refine it. After Yi Qinfeng went through the most painful process, Yi Wuji's voice rang in his ears. Buzz! Yi Qinfeng moved his mind, and the bronze sword spirit appeared in his sea of soul. Seeing the silver light from the bronze sword spirit, Yi Wuji's smile became even wider. Although Yi Qinfeng's start was far from the genius disciples of the Void God Realm, his results were not worse than theirs. After seeing Yi Qinfeng's wisdom and foundation, Yi Wuji could rest assured that Yi Qinfeng could ascend to the Void God Realm and create his own world. Formation Spirit, borrow the original power of the abyss of hell and merge it with my body. After losing the primordial blood, Yi Wuji's soul shadow became extremely weak. When he refined the bronze sword soul, he had to borrow the original power of the abyss of hell. Hearing Yi Wuji's order, the formation spirit immediately reversed the formation and forcibly connected with the most fundamental power of the abyss of hell. It continuously merged into Yi Wuji's body, quenching the sword soul after fusing with a large amount of origin energy. Yi Wuji's hands moved quickly. He made a series of hand seals, evolving a mysterious refining method to refine the bronze sword soul. Under Yi Wuji's refinement, the bronze sword spirit started to shine with more and more silver light. The sword spirit itself started to change drastically. Very quickly, 3 days passed. Under Yi Wuji's relentless refinement, the bronze sword spirit had undergone a qualitative change. It had transformed into a more powerful silver sword spirit, and its power had increased by dozens of times. In these 3 days, Yi Qinfeng had also completed the initial process of changing his blood. After the Grand Mist blood had devoured the 4 great bloodlines, it had begun to transform his body and change the blood in his body. Large amounts of mortal blood seeped out of his pores. His body also became extremely weak at this moment. Come out! Feeling that Yi Qinfeng's mortal blood had almost run out, Yi Wuji used a great technique and took out a white jade pendant from the universe mirror that Yi Qinfeng had fused into his body. This jade pendant was what Yi Qinfeng had obtained from the treasure cliff of the Heavenly Palace. After obtaining this jade pendant, Yi Qinfeng had studied it many times, but he couldn't unravel its hidden secrets. This jade pendant actually contained the origin of life. Yi Wuji looked at the white jade pendant and saw through its hidden secrets. Crack! Yi Wuji fused with the original power of the abyss of hell and crushed the extremely hard white jade pendant that even supreme-grade sacred treasures couldn't break. He activated a wisp of extremely precious origin of life and fused it into Yi Qinfeng's body. At this moment, Yi Qinfeng had lost all his mortal blood and was in the process of forming new blood. It was also an extremely difficult moment. If he could endure it, Yi Qinfeng would be reborn. If he couldn't endure it, it was very likely that it would cause an untreatable internal injury. At this moment, after fusing with the origin of life, not only did Yi Qinfeng easily overcome the most difficult moment, but it also allowed his vitality and blood to undergo a qualitative improvement. Rumble! Just as Yi Qinfeng was undergoing a qualitative change, deafening thunder appeared in the sky above the abyss of hell, forming thick, dark clouds. Through the terrifying restrictions of the abyss of hell, it locked onto Yi Qinfeng. Formation Spirit, open the restrictions and let Qinfeng receive the baptism of heavenly punishment. Seeing that Yi Qinfeng had attracted the heavenly punishment, Yi Qinfeng immediately ordered the Formation Spirit to open the layers of restrictions of the abyss of hell, allowing Yi Qinfeng to receive the baptism of heavenly punishment and complete the final transformation with the power of heavenly punishment. The primordial blood was the most powerful bloodline in the universe. Its existence completely exceeded the world power of the Duhan continent. Therefore, Yi Qinfeng's process of changing the primordial blood attracted the most extreme and most terrifying heavenly punishment of the Duhan continent. However, Yi Wuji wasn't worried about Yi Qinfeng. 2238 Yi Qinfeng, with his fearful heart, would definitely be able to overcome the extreme heavenly punishment and complete the blood transformation. Boom! 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 The terrifying thunder became louder and louder. Lightning bolts that looked like thunder dragons kept rolling in the tribulation clouds. The terrifying power alarmed the demonic beasts within a radius of hundreds of miles, causing them to flee in panic. The entire East Sea fell into chaos at this moment. What happened? What kind of demonic beast was undergoing tribulation in the East Sea? With such a terrifying aura, could it be that a level 9 heavenly beast was undergoing the holy beast tribulation in the East Sea? Many cultivators who were cultivating in the East Sea were also alarmed by Yi Qinfeng's heavenly punishment. They came out of seclusion and came to the turbulent East Sea. Looking at the doomsday tribulation clouds that were getting thicker and thicker from afar, they became more and more panicked. Boom! Just as many cultivators were guessing, a terrifying sound resounded through thousands of miles. The entire East Sea was in an uproar at this moment. A grayish-brown power of heavenly punishment emerged from the violently rolling doomsday tribulation clouds. It tore through the East Sea that had set off huge waves and bombarded Yi Qinfeng in the abyss of hell. Facing the extreme heavenly punishment that could destroy a mid-grade holy treasure, Yi Qinfeng, who was sitting cross-legged, did not dodge. He allowed the extreme heavenly punishment to bombard his body and used the power of heavenly punishment to transform his body from a most fundamental level. The power of the extreme heavenly punishment was too terrifying. In the blink of an eye, Yi Qinfeng's body, which was comparable to a low-grade holy treasure, was shattered. However, in the next moment, the source of life that had fused with his body released a vast amount of life force, repairing his shattered body at a speed visible to the naked eye. At this moment, the primordial blood also released a powerful qi and blood energy that poured into Yi Qinfeng's remnant body. It continuously formed new blood cells and was reborn. The process of the extreme heavenly punishment shattering his body was extremely painful and dangerous. However, Yi Qinfeng relied on his great willpower to endure it bitterly without any fear. 3 days passed amidst the extreme suffering. The extreme heavenly punishment also disappeared. In the midst of life and death, Yi Qinfeng endured until the end and transformed all the blood in his body into the most powerful primordial blood. The bottleneck of his cultivation realm also loosened at this moment. Some people might think that leveling up is fast, but the primordial blood is obtained from the ruins of God. It can't raise a Tao saint by 3 realms. Mobile reading site. Book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1449. A 3-star Tao saint broke through. Yi Qinfeng, who had no flesh on his body, suddenly opened his eyes. He controlled the bloodline power released by the primordial blood and broke through the bottleneck to become a 3-star Tao saint. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement test after breaking through. His strength did not stop increasing. With the help of the primordial blood, he quickly reached the limit of a 3-star Tao saint and broke through to a 4-star Tao saint. After more than 10 breaths, the primordial blood, which contained a vast amount of bloodline power, raised Yi Qinfeng's strength to the limit of a 4-star Tao saint. It only calmed down when he broke through to the 5-star Tao saint realm, a 5-star Tao saint. In the blink of an eye, I actually became a 5-star Tao Saint. 184. I broke through to the 5-star Tao Saint realm. Yi Qinfeng felt as though he was in a dream when he sensed the rapid increase in his cultivation level. He had never imagined that the primordial blood would be so heaven-defying. It had actually allowed him to break through 3 cultivation levels consecutively and become a 5-star Tao Saint. Moreover, his cultivation foundation had become extremely solid. Not bad, not bad. You merged with the primordial blood that I left for you and broke through to the 5-star Tao Saint realm. Seeing Yi Qinfeng's strength increase by leaps and bounds, Yi Wuji's spiritual projection floated over and said with satisfaction, "Father, what are the benefits of the primordial blood?" Feeling that the primordial blood had swallowed all 4 of his bloodlines, Yi Qinfeng really wanted to know how powerful it was. The primordial blood was the most powerful bloodline in the universe. It could provide you with endless Tao power. In other words, when you burn the primordial blood in battle, the Tao power in your body would be endless. Yi Wuji said, "Endless Tao power." Yi Qinfeng's eyes lit up. He was very surprised. If he had endless Tao power, he would be able to control the attacks of the 2 supreme grade sage treasures endlessly. Even a 6-star Tao Saint would not be able to block his attacks. Other than endless Tao power, the primordial blood could also increase your cultivation level. Yi Wuji continued, "Also, the primordial blood swallowed your 4 bloodlines. It should have retained the support of the 4 bloodlines for you. All right, you just broke through, so you should quickly stabilize your cultivation level. After you stabilize your cultivation, I have other gifts for you." Yi Wuji looked at the excited Yi Qinfeng. Yi Qinfeng nodded and sat cross-legged on the ground to consolidate his 5-star Tao Saint realm. While Yi Qinfeng was consolidating his soul power, Yi Qinfeng's soul shadow burned a part of his soul body, forming a pure soul power that flooded into Yi Qinfeng's soul sea and improved his soul power. The God-Eater brain appeared in Yi Qinfeng's sea of soul, turning into a black hole and devouring everything in its path. The undying soul formula that Yi Qinfeng cultivated also began operating on its own due to the influx of powerful soul power. It formed a terrifying soul grindstone, grinding away at his soul power and increasing his soul realm. In about 5 days, Yi Qinfeng stabilized his 5-star Divine Saint realm. His soul had also reached the limit of 6-star Divine Saint realm under the nourishment of Yi Wuji's burning soul. As for the God-devouring brain, it had devoured a powerful soul force and completed its 9th transformation. It had even split into an extremely powerful subbrain of the soul devourer. At this moment, Yi Qinfeng already had 2 soul devourer brains that he hadn't used. He could use the soul devourer brains to control 2 powerful beings for his own use. "Qingfeng, I'll give you another gift. With this gift, there won't be many people in this world who can hurt you." After burning a part of his soul body, Yi Wuji became very weak. He floated before Yi Qinfeng and said, "Is this gift from Di Jiutian?" Yi Qinfeng asked. "That's right. Di Jiutian was the first divine emperor of Jiutian Divine Kingdom. His identity was special. Controlling him was equivalent to controlling Jiutian Divine Kingdom. Di Jiutian was also a 1-star heavenly venerate, which was enough to intimidate those ancient supreme beings who were still alive." Yi Wuji nodded. He exploded his left arm and formed a powerful soul mark. It broke into Di Jiutian's Sea of Soul and took control of his soul. Then he used a great skill to form a 2nd soul mark that merged into Yi Qinfeng's body. As long as the soul mark in Yi Qinfeng's body was not broken, he could control Di Jiutian's life and death. "Di Jiutian, help my son from now on." Yi Wuji woke up Di Jiutian, who had been in a coma, and ordered. Yes, even though he was unwilling, because of the soul mark, Di Jiutian couldn't disobey Yi Wuji's order. "By the way, Father, I have 2 things that I want you to take a look at." Yi Qinfeng wanted to use Yi Wuji's power to unlock the secrets of the hidden stone that nurtured the heart and the coffin that was suppressed by the ancient pine. Okay, take them out. Even though Yi Wuji's shadow was very weak, he had set up a great trap in the abyss of hell and could continuously borrow the power of the abyss of hell. Father, what exactly is inside the hidden stone? Yi Qinfeng asked as he took out the treasure-storing stone with several layers of seals on it. The heart of a divine demon Yi Wuji's eyes brightened as he saw the truth of the heart through the hidden stone. The heart of a divine demon? Is there a divine demon in the dead ruins? Yi Qinfeng was a bit surprised. Open it. Yi Wuji took the hidden stone from Yi Qinfeng and used the power of the abyss of hell to shatter the extremely hard hidden stone. He broke open the seals and exposed the giant heart that was filled with blood qi. Father, what level is this heart at? Even though Yi Qinfeng had reached the 5-star Tao Saint realm, he still felt his heart palpitate when he looked at the giant heart filled with blood qi. All the blood in his body became restless. This should be the heart of a Tao god. Yi Wuji said, there are indeed many secrets hidden in the fighting spirit continent. Tao god Yi Qinfeng sucked in a cold breath. In the heaven realm, the Tao gods were second only to the Tao ancestors. They were definitely the overlords of a region. Even in the void god realm, the almighty experts of the Tao god realm could create their own world. What's more, god fiends were stronger than ordinary races, and Tao god level god fiends were even more terrifying. Qinfeng, do you know where the heart is suppressed? Yi Wuji asked. Yi Qinfeng, who had a general idea, nodded. Okay, then I will give you another gift and help you control the divine demon. With that, Yi Wuji burned his soul and borrowed the power of the abyss of hell to leave a mark on the heart. Once the heart fused with the main body, Yi Qinfeng would be able to use the mark in the heart to control the Tao god level fiend god. Father, look at what is suppressed in the ancient coffin. Yi Qinfeng put away the seal on the divine demon's heart and summoned the ancient coffin suppressed by the primordial blood and the ancient pine. What an evil power! Looking at the ancient bronze coffin on the ground and suppressing the ancient pine, Yi Wuji frowned. He waved his arm and pulled up the ancient pine to open the ancient coffin. Howl, howl, howl. The moment the coffin lid opened, a bone-chilling, ghostly wail sounded from within the ancient coffin. An ancient man with hollow eyes and black, demonic qi wrapped around his body sat up in the ancient coffin. He had the blood of primordial chaos sealed between his eyebrows. It was the king of zombies, Mo Ba. Yi Wuji recognized the ancient man at a glance. Qinfeng, you have a lot of good things. From the aura this Mo Ba is emitting, his strength has reached the level of a demon emperor. However, this Mo Ba's body has 3 layers of seals. I don't have much soul power left in my body, so I can't break the 3 layers of seals. However, even with the 3 layers of seals, his strength is equivalent to a 6-star demon saint. He will be of great help to you. Now, I will use the primordial blood to help you control this Mo Ba. With that, Yi Wuji once again merged with the power of the abyss of hell and used the drop of primordial blood to forcibly place a powerful control seal on the king of zombies' body. 5B, for some people might think that leveling up is fast, but the primordial blood is blood obtained from the ruins of God. It really won't improve Yi Qinfeng much. Mobile reading website, book address. To make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1450. Father, with my current strength and foundation, can I tear open the gate of the heaven realm and ascend to the heaven realm? After controlling the zombie king, Mo Ba, Yi Qinfeng's foundation had become even deeper. He had the urge to tear open the gate of the heaven realm. The gate of the heaven realm in this world is sealed by the heaven race. If you forcefully tear open the gate, you will have a direct conflict with the heaven race, which will cause a series of unnecessary troubles and expose yourself in advance. Therefore, I don't recommend you to tear open the gate and ascend to the heaven realm." Yi Wuji shook his head and said, "But if I don't tear open the gate, how can I ascend to the heaven realm?" Yi Qinfeng didn't understand. "You can go through the spirit race." 5b for Yi Wuji said as he entered the heavenly region. The spirit race's inheritance can lead to the heaven realm. Yi Qinfeng's eyes lit up, and the spirit race was a very terrifying force in the heaven realm. The heaven race joined forces with other races to destroy the spirit race, but they also paid a big price. It was also because of the war that the heaven race lost part of their strength, so they didn't extend their claws into the human race. I have seen a few spirit race inheritances and found the teleportation array that connects to different realms. Therefore, I guess the ultimate inheritance that the spirit race left in this world is a teleportation array that leads to the heaven realm. However, Qingfeng, although you have a good foundation, you still have to be very careful when you reach the heaven realm. Yi Wuji said seriously, "I suggest you join the Misty Heaven sect after you ascend to the heaven realm." "Father, why do you want me to join the Misty Heaven sect?" According to what he knew, the ancestor of the Misty Mountain, Shui Piao Miao, was from the Misty Heaven sect. Because the Misty Heaven sect hides a great ancient secret, and that ancient secret is very useful to you. If you can grasp it, not only can you greatly increase your attack power, but it might also improve your sword spirit to the next level, transforming it into a gold sword spirit or even a heaven sword spirit. Yi Wuji said, "What ancient secret is this?" Yi Qinfeng knew the power of the sword spirit. Now that he had a silver sword spirit, his attack power was already beyond the limit of the Duhan continent. If his sword spirit transformed into a gold sword spirit, his attack power would be even more terrifying, greatly increasing his foundation. 111. It was the general outline of the sword Dao left behind by a sword Dao ancestor who admired the Misty Heaven sect's ancestor. Yi Wuji said, "Back then, I accidentally learned of this secret. I wanted to go to the Misty Heaven sect to see the sword Dao ultimacy, but the ancient star road suddenly opened, so I had to give up." "Father, so many years have passed. Would that ancient secret still exist?" Furthermore, the Misty Heaven sect wouldn't allow ordinary people to discover the ancient secret. Yi Qinfeng asked, "Don't worry, the sword profound is in one of the ancient ruins of the Misty Heaven sect. After so many years of inheritance, the Misty Heaven sect has lost the method to enter the ancient ruins. Therefore, if nothing unexpected happens, the ancient ruins are still there." Yi Wuji said, "I will imprint the way to enter the ancient ruins into your soul." As he spoke, Yi Wuji performed a great technique and imprinted a set of mysterious maps into Yi Qinfeng's Sea of Soul. "Father, even if I control the map, I'm afraid I won't be able to break the restrictions of the ancient ruins." Yi Qinfeng said, "Don't you have a space swallowing bug? If it can evolve further, it can help you enter the ancient ruins." Yi Wuji said, "Okay, I don't have much soul power left. Now I will teach you the technique. You will have to rely on yourself for the rest of the journey." "Thank you, Father." Yi Qinfeng didn't have any more questions. He asked Yi Wuji about the mysterious mirror image clone cultivation method. Soon, 10 days passed. During these 10 days, Yi Qinfeng had a substantial breakthrough in his understanding of the mirror image super technique. He had cultivated the mirror image super technique to the 3rd level. Although Yi Qinfeng still couldn't create 3 mirror image doppelgangers at the same time. One of them had the same strength as him. It was incredible enough. "Qingfeng, my child, the energy of this soul shadow has been exhausted. It will dissipate soon. Take good care of yourself. When you step into the void god realm one day, our family will be reunited." Yi Wuji looked at Yi Qinfeng reluctantly. He stretched out his illusory arms and gently hugged him. After a long time, Yi Wuji's soul shadow suddenly exploded into endless dust and disappeared in the abyss of hell. "Father, wait for me." I will go to the Void God realm to find you and Mother soon. Looking at the dust floating in the wind, Yi Qin-feng took a deep breath and suppressed the pain in his heart. He swore to himself, "Young master, do you want to continue cultivating here, or let me teleport you out?" The array spirit floated over and asked respectfully, "Send me out." Yi Qin-feng took a deep breath and said, "Some things should be settled." "Yes, young master." After saying that, the array spirit controlled the abyss of hell and formed a powerful teleportation force. It wrapped around Yi Qin-feng and Di Jiutian, teleporting them out of the abyss of hell and back to the East Sea. "Young Master Yi, you are out." When Yi Qin-feng appeared outside the abyss of hell, the King of Massacre, who had been waiting for a long time, appeared in the dark trench. He bowed to Yi Qin-feng and said, respectfully, "Massacre, how is the situation in the Eastern continent?" Yi Qin-feng looked at the King of Massacre, who had broken through to level 5 combat Beast Emperor, and asked, "Everything is normal in the Eastern continent. I already control half of the forces in the Eastern continent." The King of Massacre told Yi Qin-feng about the situation in the Eastern continent. "Very good." Yi Qin-feng nodded and said, "This heavenly saint-breaking pellet is for you. If one day you break through the limit of a level 6 Beast Emperor, this pellet will allow you to take another step forward and break through to the divine saint realm." Yi Qin-feng was not stingy. He gave a heavenly saint-breaking pellet and a precious heaven and earth spirit herb to the King of Massacre. 3 days later, Yi Qin-feng drove the spirit ship through the 9 chasm and returned to the central world. He summoned Di Jiutian out of the universe realm. Di Jiutian quickly returned to the 9 heavens god nation and investigate the foundation of the 9 heavens god nation for me. I want to know how many heavenly sovereigns there are in the 9 heavens god nation. Yi Qin-feng ordered. Then wait for my order to start a war between the god nations. Attack the 8-head nation and the Kirin kingdom. Yes. Di Jiutian unwillingly obeyed. After separating from Yi Qin-feng, he turned into a ray of light and flew towards the 9 heavens god nation. After separating from Di Jiutian, Yi Qin-feng drove the spirit ship and headed towards the 8-head nation. He was prepared to continue plundering the 8-head nation and prepare to enter the sky beyond sky. Just as he was on his way to the 8-head nation, his communication bead suddenly lit up. Hearing the message from the communication pearl, Yi Qin-feng's expression immediately changed. 111 his expression darkened, and his deep eyes revealed a thick viciousness. He never thought that the person who sent the message for help would be Diaotian. He also never thought that Qi Qingtian would use Diaotian's life to force him to go to the 8-head palace. "Qi Qingtian, since you miss me so much, let's settle this once and for all." Although Yi Qin-feng knew that Qi Qingtian and the others had set up a trap for him in the 8-head nation's palace, he was not afraid at all since he had broken through to the 5-star Dao Saint realm. He increased the speed of the spirit ship and broke through the sea of clouds. He flew towards the 8-head imperial city at an extremely fast speed. Mobile reading site. Book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click Save at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1451. Orochi Imperial City, the center of power of Orochi Kingdom, was one of the most famous cities in the Central World. Watermark advertisement. Test watermark advertisement test. Since Qi Qingtian wanted to destroy Yi Qinfeng's power and spread the news of Yi Qinfeng's battle in the Orochi Palace, the entire Orochi Imperial City became the focus of the Central World. The city was on high alert. "Master, do you think Xingfeng will come?" An extremely beautiful woman in an emerald green dress with skin as delicate as milk and an elegant temperament sat in an antique tea house outside 8 divergent imperial city. She looked at the scenery outside the window and spoke with a heavy heart. Based on my understanding of that kid, I believe he will come. The red-faced old man wearing an ancient Taoist robe said as he sipped on the tea that emitted a faint spiritual energy. But I don't want him to come. If he comes, his life will be in danger. Master, you must help Qingfeng. The woman in the green dress turned pale. She shook the elder's arm and begged, Sai, I really want to help him, but Orochi Kingdom's power is unimaginable. I heard that an ancient demonic saint has awakened in Orochi Kingdom. With my power, I can't help him much. The old Taoist sighed and put down the bamboo teacup in his hand. Don't worry, Tao Addict, I've already contacted Master. He is on his way. With him here, fifth brother will be fine. Suddenly a deep voice sounded. Tianji, who was shrouded in black light, appeared in the tea house with ghost face, silver-haired demon dove, and black tortoise. Tianji looked at the man, shrouded in black light. Tao Addict immediately recognized him. She said with surprise, When did Qingfeng become your fifth brother? Qingfeng was chosen by Master. It's not surprising that he became our fifth brother. Tianji and the other three sat across from Tao Addict. They looked at Jiao Yuyen's beautiful face and said, Tao Addict, she is your disciple with the Tianhun body. Jiao Yuyen greeted the seniors. Jiao Yuyen slowly stood up and bowed with a gentle voice. Not bad, not bad. The heavenly soul body is indeed one of the most powerful bodies in the world. Even I am unable to see through the strength of her soul. Tianji sized up Jiao Yuyen and praised her. Tianji, when did you learn to praise others? A hearty voice sounded from outside the tea house. The Thunder Clan Supreme Elder, the Black Lightning King, and a skinny old man with wrinkles all over his face walked into the tea house. Senior Lei Huang, you've come out of seclusion. The Tao Addict and Tianji immediately stood up and bowed to the old man in the linen robe. My Thunder Clan owes little friend ye a debt of gratitude. So I hope these old bones of mine can help him. Lei Huang nodded and said, Lei Huang was the undisputed #1 person in the Thunder region. His arrival immediately alerted the Orochi royal family and reached Qi Qingtian's ears. Lei Huang is here too. Qi Qingtian, who was wearing a golden dragon robe and sitting on the dragon throne, spoke in a low voice. His eyes flashed with ferocity. Other than Lei Huang, the Tao Addict, Tianji, and the Black Lightning King also appeared outside the Orochi royal city. However, they did not enter the city. Orochi royal family's informant reported, No matter, let them come. I want to see how many people will support Yi Qinfeng. Although Lei Huang and the others were strong, they could not threaten the ancient demon saint, nor could they threaten the foundation of the Orochi royal family. Qi Qingtian was only worried about the protector of the human clan, Luotian. On the second day after Lei Huang and the others arrived, 5B4, two great figures with extraordinary strength arrived outside 8 divergent imperial city. These two people were the two protectors of the heavenly hall, Xian Fengruo and Xian Fengxi, who were at the limit of the Nirvana heavenly realm. They also brought the #1 treasure of the heavenly hall, the supreme grade sacred treasure, the 9-fold fiery cavern. In an instant, the atmosphere of the Orochi royal city became unprecedentedly tense. Without the ancient demon saint, the forces gathered outside the city were enough to shake the foundation of the Orochi royal family. Fengruo, Fengxi, you have broken through the limits of your life. The old Lei Huang said enviously when he saw Xian Fengruo, who was only 10,000 years younger than him, and Xian Fengxi gain a second life. This is all thanks to Qingfeng. He helped us refine pills and stimulated our life potential, allowing us to live for more than 20,000 years. Xian Fengxi, who was wearing an alchemy robe and looked like a middle-aged man, said, Sai, it seems that we have all been greatly indebted to little friend Yi. I just don't know if us old bones can help him get through this crisis. Although Xian Fengruo and Xian Fengxi gained a new life and their strength increased greatly, Lei Huang was still not confident when he thought of the foundation of the Orochi royal family. Little friend Yi is a person with great fortune. I believe that he will be able to get through this crisis. Xian Fenghua said, Don't be delusional. He will definitely die this time. Suddenly, a cold voice sounded outside the tea house. The devil's spirit saint, who was shrouded in black light, stepped on the void and walked toward them step by step. You are feeling the devil spirit, saint body. 77 His body emitted a destructive aura. Lei Huang and the others' faces changed slightly, revealing a dignified expression. What? You can't guess my identity? The devil's spirit saint revealed a proud expression and said, I found that you guys are really brave. At this time, you still dare to help that little bastard. It seems that this saint must kill you all one by one. With that, the devil's spirit saint took a step forward. His whole body's demonic aura instantly gathered and swept toward Lei Huang and the others like a stormy sea. He wanted to crush them and warn the world. Devil Spirit Saint, wait until you break through the Devil Lord realm one day. Now is not the time for you to be arrogant. An aura that was not weaker than the Devil Spirit Saint appeared. Luotian, who was wearing an ancient robe and had a dagger in her chest, blocked in front of everyone. She quickly sent out a palm and shattered the wave of demonic aura, breaking the attack of the Devil Spirit Saint. It's you. Looking at the sudden appearance of Luotian, the Devil Spirit Saint couldn't help but frown. Although he could ignore Lei Huang and the others, he had to pay attention to Luotian. Moreover, 80,000 years ago he fought with Luotian, but he was defeated by Luotian. So when he saw Luotian again, he couldn't help but feel a little guilty. Devil Spirit Saint, make your move. I want to see how much your strength has improved after not seeing you for 80,000 years. Luotian's robe swelled up. A terrifying power surged out of his body and merged into the void, causing layers of wrinkles to appear in the space around his body. Luotian, today I will give you face and spare them. If you dare to come to Orochi Imperial Palace, this saint will make you unable to return. The Devil Spirit Saint hesitated for a moment and didn't attack. He left behind a ruthless sentence and returned to Orochi Imperial City. And Orochi Imperial family also felt a little uneasy because of Luotian's arrival. Just as the atmosphere in Orochi Imperial City became more and more tense, a huge spirit boat broke through the sea of clouds and crashed into Orochi Imperial City that was shrouded in a powerful array formation without slowing down. F-54 and this collision shocked the world. Mobile reading site. Book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the bookmark below to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1452. Boom! A world-shaking explosion rang out. The spirit boat that Yi Chenfeng steered collided with the formation restrictions of Octahead Imperial City, giving rise to 10,000 layers of giant waves. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement, testin. The next moment, under everyone's shocked gazes, cracks appeared on the array formation restrictions of Octahead Imperial City. Like a hot knife through butter, the spirit boat plunged into the chaotic Octahead Imperial City in its most tyrannical state. Master, is this spirit boat driven by Qingfeng? Jiao Yian's eyes widened as she watched the shocking scene. She turned her head to look at the dumbfounded Tao addict. This should be it, right? The Tao addict knew the power of the formation restriction of Orochi Imperial City. It was as difficult as ascending to the heavens to tear it apart. She could not imagine that Yi Chenfeng, whom she had not seen for many years, had the ability to tear apart the formation of the Imperial City. Come, let's enter the city too. Luotian's deep eyes shot out rays of sharp light. With a gentle wave of her arm, she shattered the formation of the Imperial City that was full of cracks and led everyone into Orochi Imperial City. Qi Qingtian, I'm coming. Yi Chenfeng stood on the speeding spirit boat. The Tao power in his body was like rolling waves. He stood tall and straight. His voice was like muffled thunder, shaking the sky above the 8 extremities imperial city until it was buzzing. Yi Qinfeng, I'll let you be arrogant for a while. Soon, I'll let you know the consequences of going against my Orochi imperial family. Qi Qingtian led a group of masters out of the palace hall. Through the boundless sky, he looked at the spirit ship that was flying toward him at breakneck speed. The murderous intent in his eyes grew thicker and thicker. Activate the strongest restriction spell and kill the enemy. Buzz, buzz, buzz the 8 sky-reaching towers projected rays of formation light that were stronger than the previous one. They covered the entire sky and formed a huge formation vortex. Endless attack formation patterns condensed in the vortex. Boom, boom when Yi Qinfeng drove the spirit boat across the 9 heavens and flew to the edge of the Orochi Imperial Palace. The formation vortex formed by the 8 sky-reaching towers spun rapidly. Waves of attack formation patterns rushed over like a tide. They wanted to destroy the spirit boat and kill Yi Qinfeng and the others. Skyrending palm, not only did Yi Qinfeng not shrink back in the face of the attack formed by the 8 heaven-piercing pagodas. He leaped out of the spirit vessel and controlled the 3 great spirit grade Tao diagrams to transform into a sea of Tao insight that condensed into numerous extremely powerful heaven-shattering hands that smashed the attacking formation markings. A 5-star Tao Saint. How could he have broken through to the 5-star Tao Saint realm? Feeling the explosive power of Yi Qinfeng's attack, the Devil Spirit Saint, who was shrouded in black light, revealed a look of disbelief. He couldn't believe that in just 1 year, Yi Qinfeng's strength had grown to such a level. This kind of growth speed was unheard of. 5-star Tao Saints hearing the Devil Spirit Saint's exclamation. Qi Qingtian's face darkened. He regretted that he had fallen out with Yi Qinfeng too early and lost the real recipe for the heavenly saint breaking pellet. Bring her to me. In order to successfully capture Yi Qinfeng and obtain his secrets, Qi Qingtian tied the planner of the sky to a 10-meter-tall stone pillar. He was prepared to use her life to threaten Yi Qinfeng. Qiankuan sword formation break. After continuously using the sky-splitting palm to break the attack pattern, Yi Qinfeng summoned 230 Qiankuan swords. He controlled the Qiankuan swords to form a powerful Qiankuan sword formation. It was like a sea of swords attacking the rapidly spinning formation vortex. Under the ferocious attack of the Qiankuan sword formation, a large number of cracks appeared on the formation vortex, rapidly depleting the power of the Tower of Babel. Qiankuan sword formation, Qiankuan strike. After breaking the formation vortex, Yi Qinfeng moved his mind. 5B for more than 100 Qiankuan swords fused together to form an invincible Qiankuan sword. With the power to destroy everything, it shattered the attack pattern and slashed at the formation vortex. Crack! A loud tearing sound was heard. The Qiankuan strike, whose power had almost reached the limit of a high-grade saint artifact, directly tore through the formation vortex and slashed at the formation restriction that enveloped the palace, causing a huge tremor. Tower of Babel. Reverse Qiankuan. Reveal Yamada. No. Orochi the formation vortex was forcefully destroyed by Yi Qinfeng. Qi Qingtian held an ancient formation plate in his hand and burned the strongest power of the 8 Tower of Babel, as well as the 8 monster cores that were suppressed. 8 beams of light shot into the sky and gathered above the violently trembling palace. They turned into a Yamada no Orochi with 8 heads and a body length of more than 1,000 meters. Demonic flames filled the sky, and the aura of death surrounded it. What a strong power! This Yamada no Orochi's power was probably no weaker than that of a high-grade saint beast. Looking at the Yamada no Orochi, formed by the 8 Tower of Babel, Yi Qinfeng did not show a trace of fear. Instead, he showed an extremely strong fighting spirit. He intended to test his true strength on the Yamada no Orochi. Hiss! The Yamada no Orochi opened all 8 of its bloody mouths and bared its fangs that were several meters long. It roared at Yi Qinfeng. Billows of demonic aura erupted, sweeping toward him like a bloody storm. "Qingfeng, do you need help?" The moment the Yamada no Orochi attacked, a figure wearing an ancient Taoist robe appeared. 184 deity appeared beside Yi Qinfeng and asked in a low voice, "No need. I alone am enough to deal with this Yamada no Orochi." Yi Qinfeng shook his head and said fearlessly. A deafening dragon roar sounded from his body. A large amount of bloody light poured out of his body and merged with the sea of Tao will, crushing the bloody storm that was coming toward him. True dragon transformation. In the next moment, Yi Qinfeng activated his body's potential and transformed into a true dragon that was several thousand meters long. He let out a dragon roar that could pierce through clouds and split rocks at Yamada no Orochi. He twisted his huge body and went up to meet the Yamada no Orochi. The true dragon transformation was a supernatural power of the dragon clan. It was extremely powerful. In addition, Yi Qinfeng had broken through to the 5-star Tao Saint realm. When he used the true dragon transformation, it was as if he had turned into a true dragon. In addition to the 150 million pounds of strength in his body, he was not at a disadvantage in the fierce battle with the Yamada no Orochi. "He's too strong. I didn't expect that after not seeing him for a few years, this kid would grow to a level that I admire. Yes, I also didn't expect that the young man who needed our protection a few years ago would cultivate to such a high level. Senior Luoshin, do you know Qingfeng's background? Who is behind him?" The Tao addict, the Black Lightning King, and the others looked at Luoshin, who was the strongest and had guarded the inheritance of the human clan for more than 500,000 years. "I don't know his background, but he can rise so quickly. I think he should have something to do with the two big figures hidden in the fighting spirit continent." Luoshin looked at Yi Qinfeng, who had transformed into a true dragon, and said slowly, "Master, is there a human clan master who is stronger than you in the fighting spirit continent?" Tianji asked in surprise. "The fighting spirit continent is not as simple as you think." Luoshin shook his head and said, "The one sleeping in the mysterious sea and the one in sky beyond are both beyond our imagination." "Master, do you mean Qingfeng may be related to Sky Beyond?" Tianji asked in surprise. "This is just my guess, but I have a feeling that the secret of Sky Beyond is about to be revealed." Luoshin nodded and said, "Mobile reading website, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support.